Welcome back, everyone, to the 2014 North American LCS. We're joined now by Cloud9's jungler Meteos, who died on Lee Sin for the first time. Did you care at all?
I didn't really care too much because I feel like I should be dying a lot on Lee Sin if I'm playing him right. But in that specific instance, I could have lived if I played it better. I had my W up and I could have smited Raze to get the spell vamp from the jungle item and lived. So I was kind of like disappointed, but it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I feel like everyone could have made that play. It's just, I can't believe you missed it, man.
Yeah, I choked.
Okay, so choking aside that you guys still won the game. Coming into the match against Coast, did everything go as expected?
Yeah, it went pretty much according to plan. We accounted for all their picks except the Syndra, which we were kind of surprised by, but it wasn't really able to take off, I guess, how they wanted it to, but it kept us from really like getting a lot of pressure mid. So aside from that, game went pretty smooth. It was a little bit slow, but we got the win.
I want to pressure you on something. You said you had a counter for every one of their picks. You think you like?
Oh, no, I counted for all of their picks.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Like going through the drafting phase, we like guessed they would pick all those champions.
And you figured that you won champions like them because you picked everything else that you wanted to.
We just knew how to play against it.
Okay.
Yeah. I do have a larger question though for you, because you guys were so dominant in the spring split, but you're actually in second place in North America right now. As a team, what's the difference from the first split to the second split as far as improvements and changes?
Well, I think for last split, we played really reactionary. We didn't try to force a lot of plays, which it's okay. But I think playing more aggressively and trying to force stuff actually gives you an upper hand when executed well.
Yeah.
And so we're having a little growing pain switching our style over to that. So we're not playing maybe as well as we did, but I think it's still a step in the right direction. And as we practice more and play more, hopefully we'll keep improving.
And so speaking of forcing things, you spend a lot of time top lane, actually. A couple of different ganks. Finally, you got it to work against Zion's Mundo. Why'd you spend so much time up there?
Well, Mundo's a champion that is really vulnerable early game, especially to dives, because he's generally low health under his turret. And if you're able to dive him, generally you can snowball on him and he won't get that useful. He'll either have to teleport back into lane to not miss a bunch of creeps, and then his teleport pressure's gone, or he just dies and misses all the creeps, and you get a big advantage on him. So it's good to camp Mundo when we can, and we knew their jungler wasn't around, so we just kept trying to pressure him.
Yeah, you guys definitely seem to do that better than all the other teams in North America right now, but it was still a fairly slow game. We have a clip here of your fight in the bottom lane when you guys kind of really took control. You dove onto a turret. Talk me through why you guys saw the opportunity here and like why now after 22 minutes do you dive the turret?
All right, well, in this clip, this is right after Annie flash ulted high. So High and Annie are both very low, but we knew they didn't have their main initiation. So we pretty much just tried going all in on them. Balls got knocked back as soon as we went in, but Lemon hit the Zenith Blade and we were able to kill a shifter, and then they were cutting back into their base, and we didn't want to dive that hard, so we just peeled back and killed Zion. And I used my ult in the most optimal way to last hit a champion.
Yes.
So it worked
Yeah,
out.
the most optimal Lee Sin kick.
Yeah, I mean, it's more gold. You got to make sure. I mean, they're taking your blue buffs. You got to take their champion kills.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good play. Okay, so then coming through the rest of this game, with you guys playing more aggressively and you guys trying to sort of fit into the new team, like, how are you finding yourselves closing games out compared to before?
Well, generally we just try to take all the objectives that we can and pressure them whenever we can, hopefully catching people out, and just wait for them to make a mistake. We don't have as many hard initiations as we did last split with like Ashe, Zac, so it's kind of harder to dive towers, but we just play it out and make safe but aggressive plays.
Yeah, and we actually have one more clip of, I guess, a safe but aggressive play, the only death you've had on Lee Sin this season. If we can actually just pull this one up. Talk to me about the setup to this play and how you guys were able to get the clean initiates on the backline, which are somewhat harder this year.
All right, well, here we Sivir ulted at them because they were far away from their turrets, and we just tried to go in. Lemon missed his Zenith Blade, so instead we decided to turn on these guys. And Wukong jumped in kind of early from his team, and they got really split up. And they dove our backline, but our backline was really strong, so we were able to handle them. And then me and Balls dove in on Syndra and Lucian.
And here's the near the fatal moment right here. You so close to not dying.
Yeah, I think I could have, like, if I backed up a little bit, W'd myself, and smited Race, I probably would have healed enough to not die there.
Well, so unfortunately a lackluster team fight for you then, but of course your team is full of all-stars, yourself included, to be honest. Who would be your MVP from your team for this game, or this week even?
For this week, I would probably give it to Lemonation. He just has been making a ton of plays on support. He is roaming a lot. He really knows where to be, and his initiations have been really crisp.
Yeah, especially all those hooks that he threw out in the first game you guys had this week.
Yeah, last game, or I guess 2 games ago at this point, he was landing a ton of hooks and just making a lot of plays.
Okay, so then a follow-up, Jad asked earlier about you guys kind of fitting into a new style. When are you going to get your revenge back on TSM and Dignitas, and are you guys looking to get that first place back here in the split?
Well, if we play well, I guess we'll beat them. It's not really super on our minds to just go after them. We want to beat everyone that we play.
Okay.
But we sort of understand that we're going through a process, and sometimes we'll lose, and that's okay.
All right. Well, you guys are taking some good learning experiences at the very least, and we'll see more of you guys throughout the split. Thank you very much for your time, Meteos. Congrats on the win.
Thanks.
We've got more games. Send it back over to Riven Kobe. Take it away.
We do have more games. Thank you, Freak. Now to our final NALCS game of the day, XDG Gaming versus Team Dignitas. Kobe, both these teams are trying to bounce back from tough losses Saturday.
So they both lost, but the losses were really different. I mean, XDG sort of ran into an aggressive Cloud9. As Meteos just talked about, they're trying to turn a new leaf.
A little aggressive.
They were decisively beaten.
Yeah.
While Dignitas actually waged a hard-fought 40-minute game with Curse. But ultimately, they saw their 6-game winning streak come to an end, and they lost one more.
Lost it all. Throughout Dig's winning streak, they told us it was all about taking comfort picks. They deviated from that strategy Saturday, and they got burned clearly.
Scar tried to counterpick Yasuo with that Akali, but it didn't work out because of an early roaming Alistar gank from St. Vicious, and then a good mid-game lane swap that rendered his early defensive items ineffective in the laning phase. And then in the bottom lane, I'mAQTPie opted for Lucian instead of Jinx, which is a champion that, he was undefeated on. So he didn't go back to the Jinx, and I think that they might have gone Lucian to try and outplay Cop and St. Vicious, but the reverse happened, and Cop and St. Vicious got the upper hand. So their
all those
main
turrets
keys,
turned back into champions.
Yeah, that they've been relying on really didn't come into play.
In their first meeting in week 2, it was XDG early and Dig late, as we usually see. Once Dig saw an opening, they seized on it. But now XDG is looking to turn the tables.
Dignitas kind of changed their playstyle from last season. This time they're more patient and they wait for you to make the mistake.
XCG right now typically get leads in the early game, but their rotations and just their general play is pretty off.
We had really bad objective control and they beat us off of that.
One of their biggest strengths last season, their jungler mid synergy got broken. And so one of the ways they used to be able to win the game was just by Cloud, and now he can't carry as hard.
When we played against Dignitas, I feel like we picked correctly, but played poorly. I had all the tools to carry that game, and instead just kind of threw it. So I'm looking to redeem myself this week against Dig.
So they're saying they're feeling good coming out of Champions Select, but it's just not rolling into place once they get the game going.
Had all the tools, just got to use them.
Yep. Now let's check out the starting lineups. On the blue side, it is XDG. Benny in the top lane, Zuna in the jungle, ManCloud in mid, Smithy at AD carry, and Bloodwater at support.
And on the red side, it's Dignitas. Up top is Cruiser. In the jungle will be Crumbs, Scar's mid, I'mAQTPie AD carry, and supporting Kiwi Kid.
And this is kind of like polar opposites here. We have Crumbs that is always helping Scara, and you have Zuna that hardly helps ManCloud. So that synergy, as we always talk about, may have to be a little bit stronger this game.
So I know like a lot of people are giving Zuna flack for the mid lane thing, but he has had like games on Elise where he's made a lot of rotations towards the mid, and they have actually had some success in mid lane. But I don't know. I think both of the players may be to blame for the lack of synergy between them right now.
That's
and
true.
Definitely they both should be feeling that weight on their shoulders. It's not just one man. Everybody's pointing the finger always at Zuna, but it's not all his fault.
They do focus on the top lane synergy with Benny, so they're keeping that accelerated. They're keeping that at least at level. We'll have to see if it can really do anything against something that's been winning but losing as well. Like we said, the momentum in this game is really necessary for both teams.
Yeah, I mean, if they do look towards that top lane, then Cruiser playing Mundo all the time could be a target. He'll go back to that champion over and over. They've had so much success with Cruiser on Mundo. I think they'll pick that every time. And if they decide to go with a sort of Cloud9 strategy and dive Mundo early, just like we saw in the last game, then maybe they can use that against Dignitas and really have a strong early game and try and use that to grab a win.
If Cruiser grabs it, like you said, Meteos said, it's something that gets Mundo low, makes him farm under the turret. That's what makes that dive so possible. Cruiser coming in here himself grabbed a little bit of flack in the early part of the season. People were saying he wasn't really performing up to par. And then Dignitas really got a lot of their wins because of his solid play in the top lane. What a daredevil.
Yeah. Plus, we can never forget about the mid lane here. Scara, pretty much the face of the team. I think that we may be seeing some Gragas bans some focus on him. He's been deviating and going off towards like Karthus though.
Yeah.
And he's pulled out a couple interesting attempts at counter picks.
He's done the Katarina as well.
But he's still in good spirits.
Tried to bring that out. The Kali pick against the Yasuo was something we saw Void Boy do, so he was like kind of try to replicate that. Has always been a mid lane player, so it's not like Kali is really out of his strengths in what to play. We did see the Diana hover though, and that could be something we see come out as well. Dignitas used to kind of play that the 2v1 long lane with Skara, but with the turret changes, well, not as much.
Yeah, I've always felt like Skara on melee champions doesn't turn out well because he always pushes and he exposes himself to ganks. So, you know, he even used to play like Mordekaiser in the mid last year.
Getting every CS that he can.
And every time he'd get ganked, and they would get early kills on him.
He'd blow his flash, and then he'd be like, I'll force you into your turret still. Oh, wait, this is a bad situation.
I don't think, so that's why I don't think we'll be seeing the Diana again. You know, right now her strength is just not on par with a lot of the ranged mages that are going to take you down
A little
mid,
too all in for an AP right now.
Yeah.
I can't get tanky enough. We'll have to see what these guys have for each other. Like we said, both of them are trying to look to gain momentum here. Dignitas just had a lot of it. Was cut down by Curse, so we'll see if that's affecting them at all. They were able to find a win on that day as well. This is Dig's heavy week. Since they had a bye week, it's a 3-game week this week, so this is their third.
I like the first ban, taking away the jinx from Cutie Pie, because as we said, you know, he's undefeated on that champion, and they want him to go towards something like Lucian, and hopefully they can repeat success down there.
And we don't see very many AD carry bans. There's less than fingers on my hand that we've seen in the NALCS.
You know what else is rare is banning both Pantheon and Wukong. Like, those two junglers are sort of aggressive niche junglers. Those are not common jungle bans. Usually it's the Vi and the Elise that were taking all the hits, but these are aimed directly at Crumbs because he's sort of followed in that line, the vein of the Dominates and the St. Vicious, where they love going with the a little bit less used but very potent
it's all
attack
about
damage
that aggression
junglers,
lately.
Pantheon and Wukong, trying to sort of gut the team here from the jungle.
Vi's up. Olaf is finally left up for Zuna in a game it has been consistently banned, and it was his first champion, first win that XDG was able to find, as he was a jungler here in the split.
Yeah, Olaf could very well be a nice comfort pick for Zuna. And they do usually spend some of their early picks more towards the jungle.
Yep.
So I would not be surprised.
Ooh.
And there we go.
There it is. He's feeling good on that. Looking at the other side, Dignitas, wow, they get Kiwi Kid that Annie. That is actually really big for them. And that Gragas pick, even bigger.
Those two picks, man, there's going to have to be really good ward coverage from XDG because Dignitas, either of those two champions roaming around the map could just create havoc. That was one of the keys to the beginning of their win streak, was a roaming Annie from Kiwi Kid that started off a lot of plays not even centered in the bottom lane.
You know, these are great bans here, Kobe, but the lesser of the evils that are left up are still scary powerful. There's still a lot of high-tier picks coming in. We're looking at Smithy to have a Sivir pick up here in this game. And ManCloud's looking to discuss that with the team. Can't believe Skara got his Gragas this game. He has controlled, and I believe it was Gragas that got Dignitas going when Skara played it for their streak. Got that win, and then they just kept rolling.
Yeah, that banning Gragas against Dig is sort of like a 2-year-old strategy, maybe even like bordering on 3 years. People have been banning Gragas against him, but every few games, you know, somebody lets it through, and then he reminds everybody why you should not let him on that champion. But it's not like XDG do not have a plan of their own. We always talk about the Sivir and Shyvana combo being great. It's doubly so with Olaf. And popping the Ragnarok on the hunt with him is amazing. And they've got the classic Leona going with Sivir. So it's a good first 3 picks here for XDG.
Indeed, a very nice combination. Cutie Pie back on that Lucian. This is going to be 0-3 for him. This will be his 4th attempt at Lucian this game. We'll see if they do play the bully lane. He's against that Sivir. We saw this matchup a little bit just a few minutes ago.
Yeah, saw the exact same matchup. And in that matchup, Leona Sivir got the early shove and just were able to farm pretty easily. We're not punished at all, really, in lane.
Mundo is up. Probably going to be that last pick coming in for the side of Dignitas if it's really not grabbed over here. A lot of top and jungle, well, not jungle rather, mid being left out for XDG.
So the top probably going to be another melee tanky bruiser that goes along with Olaf, and the On the Hunt to dive real deep. Classic Mundo. And then the mid, they're definitely going to need some variation there. I guess they don't want variation, and they just go full Zerg on us.
Wow.
Everybody going to be diving to the back lines. This is an almost all melee team. I mean,
raise your hand if you'd like to bring AD to the table.
Siver's got short range. This is going to be a really, really intense early game. XDG will be forcing dragon fights. They will be looking to roam, catching members of Dig away from turrets, and trying to punish them. Wow. Really, really aggressive champions here from XDG.
Easy to figure that the Renekton pick should be the lock-in. If it's going to be the third time being played by Cruiser, that means he has a chance to make it 3-0. He is undefeated on that champion, so the lock-in would be quite sufficient for this comp.
All right, so Cruiser actually going to be going up against Mundo this time. So we'll see if he can actually make the early ganks work for his advantage and do a turret dive towards XDG. Because Lee Sin and Renekton are very capable of taking out a Mundo early
like
under
we said,
his turret.
Had to have that somewhat damage-dealing champion. Meteor said once you get him under the turret, you get him down. Zuna gets his ult off this game, really liking the compositions. And XDG always trying to bring out something that you haven't seen. Like, we've seen this, but not from them.
Yeah, I mean, this is a real heavy Zerg composition, and Gragas is a great counter. So Skara's ultis are going to determine a lot for this team. As soon as everyone starts to charge for them, he's going to try and just scatter the battlefield, create chaos, and knock them backwards for the duration. Because if they can kite backwards for a little bit and rely on the Gragas ult and the Lee Sin kick, then they can easily turn this one around. So this will be very interesting to see. Because if XCG collapse on somebody, it's going to be like a pack of wolves just
they're hungry.
Destroying
Rabid coming in strong. Well, they're locked in, so let's check who you think will be ending the weekend with a win here. According to LOLesports.com, with your votes, 88% of you think that Dignitas are going to end this week with a much-needed victory.
Yeah, pretty big fan favorite here, Dignitas. They've got some charismatic players on their team, so can't really blame those fans.
But just as it's a much-needed victory for Dig, it's almost a more needed victory here, if you will, for XDG. Dig just had the momentum. They've gotten themselves in a pretty good spot here, so the end of the season might not look as scary. But for XDG, the consistency that they've been showing, it's shaky.
You can see how serious they are. The looks on the XDG faces, everybody very intense for this game. They really want to get back on track right now.
XDG is known for kind of going in and practicing their games 1v1s for tacos. You're not seeing that too much. The stress is there. They're worried about the kills they're going to get in their own lanes. Tacos after the victory.
All right, so I do want to point out the early actual ward coming down from Bloodwater. He's got the full 3-minute ward here. They don't have to rely on trinket wards. They actually will have a little bit of extra vision. And he's also gone with the Targon, so the early shove probably going to be attempted once again by the Sivir Leona lane. No surprises there.
Interesting. Doran's not being purchased by Kiwi Kid.
Yeah.
Get the ring out. Hopefully he doesn't get crushed down too hard by that lane.
It's still Doran. Like, Doran has a lot of items. You know, he's got rings. He's got swords. He's got shields.
His stock is going up this season so much.
He's got plenty of rings to sell. Kiwi Kid picking himself up one. He is going for that strat I was talking about where you just spam Q onto Leona early, try and harass him down.
Yeah.
So when Bloodwater goes in for the executes on the melee minions and the cannon minion, Kiwi Kid really going to try and punish him for it. Maybe even a swap down here. There could be lane movements because we're still pretty early here on the timers. And it's a very interesting movement by ManCloud, getting very deep. Very deep inside that bottom side.
Go for the 3-man.
Oh, late invade. They've got a real ward, as I said. 3-minute ward here from Bloodwater. He could pop that sucker down on blue.
He used the regular one.
Yeah, well.
He got
Trinket. Trinket one. That's only a minute.
We'll see what vision that gives them. I don't know if anybody's going to be walking straight across that path. Yeah, it curves into the blue just enough. They'll see him as he walks out of the brush. Zuna starting on his red, as well as a red start for Crumbs. We're going to get help in the opposite
And look
lanes.
at Benny waiting for him in the tri-bush here. He wants to get early advantage in lane. Bam, first cleaver landed. He's established top laner dominance.
Got him in a real stranglehold to start. ManCloud meeting up with Scar in the mid lane. Blades versus barrels. We're going to see how this one plays out. ManCloud should be able to E out of that barrel damage quite often.
Yeah, as soon as he levels up the shield, then he'll be able to trade much more effectively than just using Broken Wings. And as you can see there, Kiwi Kid, you thread in auto attacks every time you Q, because Andy's got a great auto attack now. There goes ManCloud, level 2. Takes a turret hit, though.
Whoa.
Undoes a lot of that damage he just did. He won the trade and stepped a little bit too close.
Dyrus talking in the lane. Those little things can easily give it back to Skara. And with ManCloud taking that W second as well, the safety isn't there from Shield.
Yep. Meanwhile, down bottom, as I said, Kiwi Kid doing a great job threading in auto attacks along with the Qs, harassing both members. And this is the reverse situation that I thought we were going to see last game.
Right.
But actually played out here by Dignitas. They did a good job of getting the early level 2.
This is the third wave. Dig has been zoned here. They're finally hitting level 2. Very good play.
That's a huge cannon wave that's been built up by Dig. So not only did they get the early CS lead, but they can harass under turret while XDG try and make that lead up.
And we can see Cruiser doing what he needs to onto Benny in the top lane, getting him slowly lower and lower in that HP bar and keeping him under the turret. And every lane is being pressured under the turret except for ManCloud here.
Yeah, and so back to, never mind, back to ManCloud here. All right, so he's safe now. The bottom lane, because this Sivir Leona is getting a little bit behind early. Oh, man, they're going for the dive. Got to wait on it.
You got to wait, Kobe. They want to get a kill here. This is what happened for Cloud9. There wasn't enough damage immediately. Oh, no, he finally gets it before he gets the teleport.
And Cruiser stands at the edge of turret aggro right there, takes an extra shot, allows Crumbs to finish the kill. So good synergy between the top lane and jungle. They do go for the dive. They do make him pay for the Mundo pick. Pretty much just what Meteos was talking about in the interview. Zuna wants to make him answer, though.
Oh, it's going to be good. At 600 HP, 600 HP to just about 1,000. Zuna's going to be forced to turn around in this one. No, he has 800 health. It looks to get down to 150 on Cruiser. The reckless swing can have it. Oh, he flashes on him to get the immediate stun. They could have enough damage. One slice, then the dice. Oh, they're cooking up dinner tonight.
Very, very dangerous to go for 2 versus 1 situations when you're still this low level. Level 3, level 4 even, with a double buff to give away. That's a lot to give away. There's a high risk.
Whoa, ManCloud. Whoa, the shield is on, but is it enough?
What?
No, it is not.
Uh-oh, everybody's going aggro. All 3 lanes fighting.
Bloodwater very low. He throws on the shield. He'll be all right from this situation. Smithy kind of calming things down here.
What in the world was I even talking about bottom lane before? We went all around the map. Oh yeah, I was talking about the CS difference. Have to remember the Targons this time, because that sneaky sucker will make you miscalculate the differences. So they're not as far behind as it looks. They still are losing though, so be sure about it. You know, they're definitely on the back foot.
Oh, yes.
Trying to bait him in.
Trying to bait in.
Ah, yes. The old bait and switch from Cutie Pie.
Crumbs still heading around the backside. Oh, how did this? The barrier immediately coming down there. They really got out of that beautifully.
Now, they got another summoner there, a couple of summoners.
Forced the flash, but stay alive.
Yeah, plus barrier from Smithy. So definitely worth on the venture bottom for Crumbs. Interesting rotation, too. You know, what can you get after this? An early dragon is a possibility, but they will take a lot of harass, and they don't have deep vision. So it's definitely still a chance for them, because they're not sure that it's going to be as easy as it is.
Things get a little safer with quotes there, because they were getting the teleport out of Benny, so they're a little safer without having him join the fight. We saw that was a huge bane for Team Solo Mid, not for Team Solo Mid.
Yeah.
But with Team Solo Mid being able to use that 6.5 minutes, that's a dragon going over to Dig. And they start to actually take a pretty good gold lead, 2K.
Yeah, they really wasted no time. I mean, they went aggressive top lane, got the kill, and then seems like Zuna and ManCloud kind of lost their minds after they saw their team member go down. Both of them went super aggro and overextended, giving up 2 more kills. So a really bad chain of events for XDG here, resulting in a giant win for Dignitas, and I'm sure they're real happy about the start for this game.
Skara always making sure he keeps that channel up it kind of negates the fact that, Riven's going to be getting that damage with the passive every time she casts. He's got Drunken Rage on, so he's got extra resistances. Works out beautifully for Gragas, and we've seen it already. Scar's got a kill in the mid lane and still trying to aggress.
Yeah, close there, just missing both spells, though. Means he has to back off, wait for his cooldowns, and we have another dive top.
Oh,
he hit level 6, but
he did hit 6. I don't think it's going to be enough either. He did put on the ulti.
It will be.
Wait a minute, fancy feet. Benny's putting on the jets here. It looks like he may get out. Oh,
they got the ignite
his
down.
taxes early. Gets a little bit of gold back on that one.
They just split. As soon as he hit level 6, they got real scared.
Oh, you got to expect this to happen. I don't know how close she is to sit. Oh, come on. Get a little antsy in the pants.
Now, I don't know. That was just ridiculous up top. Not played out exactly as we expected, but they do trade kills and end up with junglers farming the lanes, so everything's right in the world.
This mid lane, a whole lot of just throwing your body around right now. Scar seems to be winning at that. 7 CS, the kill in his favor. The Doran's ring back and by for him with the Fiendish Codex. Just keeping him on top.
ManCloud trying to answer and clean up these waves, but it's difficult for him to CS under the turret. Misses a good amount of them. Claws his way back pretty close.
Yep. Swinging away. See if he can get that blue buff into action here. He takes it for himself. Obviously, ManCloud not going to require that, or his top laner, so he can keep soaking up that experience and blue buff, but will it be what they need? Crumbs in the mid lane with Scar now could be ready to attack on this, but the bottom lane, every time someone wants to get all aggressive, every lane does.
Yeah, they're definitely no strangers to fights here, and both of them heading towards level 6 pretty soon. Not only do you have to watch for the early level 2s in duo lanes, but level 6 is almost even more exciting because as we went over last game, Annie and Leona, whoever gets the first step and the first stun can easily chain into a kill down bottom. So at this point in time, usually a duo lane will call for junglers to make them aware of the early level 6 that's about to come in, so that they'll be in place to capitalize. There it is.
Oh, Cutie Pie trying to get on the engage there. They go for the ultimate from Kiwi Kid. He goes back, and it's the teleport from Benny. Whoa, they're just deciding who gets it. They said, all right, Smithy, come on. Bloodwater takes with the ignite,
Well,
though.
one of these teams did call their jungler, and they also used the teleport just to make sure. For good measure, they end up getting the kill. Woo! And a flash here from Cutie Pie.
I was about to say, I was going to talk about Cutie Pie's inventory. He's really favoring that attack speed with the Phage first over this team that can just rush him down. Or movement speed, I said.
Yeah,
it's attack speed.
Yeah, the movement speed there
Right.
from the on hit is going to help him out, but he'll be a little bit less mobile not having his flash. He's trying his best to defend the turret.
He does get some help from Crumbs here. Looks like they're going to lay a trail of safety down, and XDG's forced out. They don't get a roam here from Scar. I thought Crumbs was going a little hard.
Yeah.
It looks like it's just to force it out.
He is. He's posturing. Scar goes deep into the turret.
Nice dodges, though. ManCloud's getting the perfect ease out here. They're still kind of, they're not still, but they're becoming more even in trade, I should say. ManCloud's not being pushed out as easy.
He's staying up there in CS, even giving away a kill. So that's a job well done for ManCloud this time around. Just a little bit of a mishap in the early game where he overextended. Crumbs now, his health bot is ticking at max life, so that's a little bit of wasted cash money.
Just throwing it away. You got to get all the pennies you see. Pick them up. Woo. And do like the parallel barrel roll or something. Perpendicular kind of strategies coming out from Skara. We'll see if he does the flash body slam next time.
Oh, Crumbs was wanting to make a play from the Wraith camp.
That would have been pretty crazy if he hit that dead strike midair.
It would have had to be a really, really well coordinated.
Well, if it's not ManCloud, it looks like it's going to be Zuna.
They've got no ulti from Gragas, though, so pretty much it's just a zone off turret for more turret damage. Since they're both melee, the best way to get this turret damage is first zone Zuna off of the turret.
And we said this was going to be hard. It's not very easy to get all melee people into a turret takedown, especially when you can get aggressed down by an Olaf and a Riven right there. But Dig is making the movements, and they're making that happen. A lot of damage on that mid turret. Potentially sets it up for Dragon in 50 seconds, and that turret going down right after.
Now, Dragon coming up pretty soon here. We'll have to see if Dignitas actually decide to take that one, because they've got the top lane shoved, but it's about 30 seconds off here, because Mundo can get that one back. He'll get one wave, and then he'll be able to start walking down. His teleport's not up, but he can start walking down before Renekton. If he clears this wave and then goes to Dragon, they will actually have the numbers advantage when it spawns. See which way Mundo goes from base. They're not going to go for the dragon, and both top laners do return to the age-old battle of Mundo versus Renekton.
He is going to go down. Actually, he's heading towards mid right now, knowing that lane is quite pushed.
Ah, he tricked us.
5 seconds on the dragon. He's going to pass
He
through
is
this ward,
going for
though.
it.
So Dig's going to know he's coming, Kobe.
All right, so they are making the call, and it looks like
Oh,
Crumbs
good
just
choice.
walked right
It's
by
a smelly enemy.
ManCloud's sword. They make a little bit of a late call here for Dig. They realized it a couple seconds late. Didn't quite have it timed perfectly. So XDG with the man advantage and the Miss Leona ultimate. They should finish off Dragon now and try and get out before Renekton gets there.
One and the other. Great movement from XDG.
Now they still got to get out. It's not over.
This is something
They're
that they...
split.
Oh, man. ManCloud, he's like, oh, dash this way. Wait a minute. That is a big crocodile. Dominance is on. They flash the cast. And it looks like they're kind of just chasing this one out. It's the full kite and defense from Zuna. Double undertow, the kick from Crumbs. Here comes the Sonic Wave resonating. Strike for the takedown.
He does land another one, but meanwhile, bottom lane here for XDG has cheated away, and they've trying to get some extra gold from CS while their jungle is being invaded, and now they've been cut off from their own base. Can they escape from this one?
How much pressure are they going to put down? They're doing multitasking here. Kills in the mid lane. 3 to the bottom lane for the party as well. They are all over the map. The omnipresent kills to come in here. A turret being taken down as well within that engagement we saw coming from the side of XDG. So trying to help themselves out a little too.
They don't answer
at least
bottom,
the minions.
but they do get that mid kill.
Yeah.
So huge for them. Taking down ManCloud once again. Scar, even after that kill, not really amused.
Deathfire Grasp right on Tuscara. He is looking to take people out of the game immediately with that build. And he is against a Riven who he's not feeling is going to cancel him out. That's not a Zanya's first. That is pure damage.
Yeah, going pure assassination. You know why? All these champions will be in range of that. Usually, as Gragas, you're like, oh, I'm probably going to be far away from their squishies. But man, everyone on XGG is going to be very close in the team fights. He'll be able to get that combo off very easily. And he's just looking for pure power.
Well, Benny going in here looking to slow the solar flare, nicely hitting the slow onto 2. Benny's able to clear it. Cutie Pie so low on mana, and he is not going to have a fun time here. Very nice boomerang blade from the backside over the shoulder of Smithy.
Really good answer from XCG. They at least are able to use the teleport effectively, get back some kills. Now ManCloud just has to be careful about overextending. That is a Moby Boots Lee Sin.
Still, oh, very nice Q. Gets in the resonating strike, and that's going to be the blast backwards for the kick coming in from Lee.
Crumbs is a huge fan of Moby Boots on a lot of his junglers because he is such a gank-heavy jungler, really liking to set up his lanes.
Your shot caller, you got to move fast.
Yeah, exactly. Think fast, move fast.
Yeah, exactly. You took the words out of my mouth. 15 minutes here, 7-4. A 2K gold lead is just kind of hovering there for Dignitas. It's been a few of these dragon pushes that XGG was able to grab last time very nicely, so Dig's trying to formulate that so everything is theirs.
Yeah, and you got to look at the champion picks here because, yes, this is not a giant gold differential here. You know, it's still possibility of a comeback for XGG, but because they've gone with such a melee-heavy composition here, the Zerg, they were really looking to be able to show their strength at this point in the game. This is where they're supposed to be shining with their team fight.
Right.
But they split up around that dragon fight after they got it and the exit. You know, they had burned on the hunt and they had burned Solar Flare, so they needed to all escape safely along the same path. They actually split 2 top, 3 bottom, and that really cost them because that's where Dignitas was able to get, you know, not only kills, those aren't really the biggest part, but the map pressure they got after that really slingshot them into the lead. And it's going to be hard for XGG to get it back because they really just shine in the team fights, and it's going to be difficult for them even in that phase now.
Got to tick against you when you're doing the right thing and the other team still finds a way to kind of make it wrong. Dignitas is doing just that. A great push by Cruiser in the top lane. Skara has been punishing this middle lane. 104 CS to 114. Benny and hard fought by Cruiser in the top lane here. That Tiamat with the giant spell's keeping him well healthy in these fights.
Popping the ultimate pretty early here. All he's got is a Sunfire, so he's scared of this Renekton. Cruiser is able to lifesteal very easily with his Hydra, so even though he doesn't have... Oh, here we go. Again, another gank from Crumbs. This one is so deep, though, that it's easily defensible.
He's like, I'm not here. Yeah. I'm not here at all.
You saw nothing. Zuna. Go back to your.
Well, he's got
go
the
back to your
undertow.
base.
He got a little bit of vision. He's going to know Crumbs is taking the wolves, and you see them somewhat formulating around this. Bloodwater now coming in, going to get a ward over the wall, possibly. No, he's not.
Now, the hard thing for XDG, because most of their lanes, pretty much, well, all their lanes are behind, it's hard for them to hold all the lanes. They're still trying to hold all lanes at once, and Dignitas have the upper hand in every single one of them.
Ooh.
So they're easily able to rotate around and grab the turrets because they can take any member of XDG in a 1-versus-1 situation. Really, XDG need to have a numbers advantage to hope for a comeback pick.
Dignitas playing off a lot of strengths that they have right now. They are actually the weaknesses of XDG. The flash being down of Xmithy, we just saw trying to be exploited in the bottom lane there. He keeps safe though. That'll be up in a few more minutes with pretty much the flash of everyone, so they may be able to get into the fights they're looking for.
Yeah, and you know what else is coming up in a couple of minutes is the Mundo teleport. That's one thing that XDG do have over Dig. If Renekton's not able or willing to go for the stun, then they can get that numbers advantage. They can force it themselves.
So much punishing going into each lane. Dignitas, and they're kind of telegraphing this, right? They're not trying to split push everything out. They're like, we got 5 in a lane. We're eventually going to take it down. What can you do about it?
I mean, it's XG's call to go for a split push, and they're going to have ManCloud on Riven. Try and get as much as he can while they hold a 4-man turret. While XG's team is not great at sieging up because of the short range, they're decent at defending it. You know, you've got Undertow, you've got Sivir. That's amazing wave clear. They're not very good in the offensive siege game, but defensively, they're okay.
Keeping them safe as they get closer and closer to home, as XDG needs a lot of that right now. They're down 4,000 gold. That deficit just keeps getting bigger and bigger. They're doing what they can to grab up some dragons, and they're doing what they can to keep the vision up. But right now, it's that hashtag no fog for Dig on the side of XDG. That is a lit up jungle.
These are the fights that XDG want to take. So if Dig are tanking dragon, that could be the extra added damage that XDG need to make a comeback and actually win a fight. If they call for the teleport, then it means they have not given up hope yet on the full 5v5 team fight. And I think they should just pull the trigger here.
Oh my god! Xmithy almost gets zeroed out by 2 abilities. Skara tries to get himself in another position to go aggressive. Benny does come down with the teleport, but that's in defense.
All right, DFG definitely paying for itself right there. He made Xmithy a non-factor in this fight, immediately guaranteeing Dignitas the dragon. Skara with the beautiful flank, just waiting in the bush here by himself, makes the play, and forces XGG to concede the first 20-minute dragon. The first 20-minute one.
So it was 3 abilities. The Deathfire Grasp we used, but that's 1,100 damage. He has 1,270 somehow.
Pretty sure he knocked Smithy out of his regular barrel with his ulti barrel there. Might have been the case. I would have to see that sucker in slow-mo again.
I think I'm going to just watch it again. 2020 on the clock, 7-4 as Dignitas slowly shows that they have control of this game, but the kills are almost coming immediately when it happens. XDG is forced to turn away from these fights in complete fear.
Well, you can see, even in their own jungle with vision, it's very, very hesitant to go contest a red buff. It'll just come down to the Smite Wars once again.
I don't know if we can call it their own jungle anymore. It's been leased over to Dignitas for the time being. We see Cruiser in the top lane, not giving Benny any breathing room. That teleport is down as well, so Benny's in for the long walk if he needs to help the team here.
And Cruiser has, you know, he's going for a split push here. He's got Sunfire and Hydra, so he can easily annihilate waves. The only thing he's lacking is the vision in that side of the jungle. You can see it's pretty dark over there for Dig. So he might want to shore that up with a couple wards. The good thing for him is that he is extremely fed right now. 210 minions, and he can rely on his slice and dice to get him out of the gank that is probable to come. There goes the ward down though, so he's ready.
So XDG hasn't really been able to use their composition yet. We see they did go Talisman of Ascension. They have the Sivir with the Olaf, and they haven't been able to get it Dignitas. They're always grouped up. There's no one person to ever rush at and take out.
Yeah, as I was saying, this comp, getting behind early, really, really bad for them. And then, as we saw the attempted comeback at Dragon, foiled by Skara, single-handedly.
That 2 pink wards really shows the control Dignitas had over Dragon. They still stand. It's not a situation that XDG has approached yet again. They still have some time before the next Dragon, so they're going to have to be down there to clean it up. But right now, pressure's been given by Cruiser in the top lane. Benny has to keep responding there, and it's all about XDG adapting for complete, almost the entire game now.
And they've got to be careful, too, and set up their own vision inside of this blue side jungle, because Annie, Kiwi Kid, you know, he's got a itchy trigger finger. If he sees anybody in range, they can catch somebody out of position with the Annie stun.
He's very excited about finding his bear.
We've seen how much damage Scar has. If they catch somebody, DFG Gragas is going to explode that person. And he's been chugging blue elixirs this entire time as well. That one just ran out. Going back to base, he probably pick up another one. Oh, never mind. He can complete the death cap all in one trip here. After, you know.
I'm not thinking that's going to be Azanya's after either. These guys are so far ahead that there's been no chance that XDG has had to mitigate any of the resistances necessary. 215 to the 185 in the mid lane. Top lane, 223 to 170. All the lanes are doing superb.
So, XDG, if without the extra vision deep, can't jump on opportunities like they just saw here. If they had known that it was just 3 members of Dig and that Smithy or Cutie Pie and Cruiser were so far away, they might have gone for that and you know, tried to take advantage of the distance between the rest of the members of the team, but they don't have any vision to give them the confidence to make those plays that they need to get back in the game.
Dignitas sitting on 2 core items here to pretty much just the one. Some Bloodthirsters, Sunfire Capes. They may not have enough for this fight. Dignitas is trying to force them into it. They know they have the upper hand.
Yeah, it's rough for Dignitas to try and play the vision game right now because they only have 2 sweepers, and they haven't bought enough replacement pink wards. They already placed 2 down by Dragon to get the Dragon vision. So with only 5 on the team, it's hard to get both Dragon and Baron vision at the same time. You just don't have enough resources there. Not enough trinkets, not enough pink wards.
Well, we know Dig. Don't go by the B word. At level 15 average, the Dragon gets up there in gold, so maybe they'll just focus on that. The B Baron word is not something they want to have within their games unless they know 99.9% it will be theirs.
I mean, really, all they have to worry about is getting caught out by the On the Hunts. That's a huge cooldown. Catching Lee Sin is a very slippery thing. You have to be careful about blowing those.
Looks like they could get a bit of their own engage on this as well. Cruiser coming in onto Zuna. The Ragnarok is going to be forced out here. Dignitas just gains a little bit more every time the XDG tries to engage.
Every ulti counts. That's 2 down for XDG. And Dig really itching to make a fight. Come on, Perry. What are you just laughing at? Is a extra wine barrel on the side?
Just throwing the barrel out for some class. He's bringing some friends over later. 25 minutes into this matchup, Dignitas is going for the slow win on this one so far. XDG is not out of the woods just yet. They really have some work to do here. And it looks like, I don't know, they need to get themselves some kills soon. It has to be on Scar. They got shutdown gold they're looking at everywhere if they can get Crumbs and Scar.
I mean, the part of the reason that Dig are taking it so slow is because yes, they've got great wave clear for when they push up to a turret. You know, Gragas and Lucian both amazing at damaging people under turrets. But XDG, all they have to do as soon as they see you at their turret is pop on the hunt, and they'll just fully chase you down. They'll just run straight for your back line, and they can still catch and engage there. If you're extended in a very long lane like that, they can catch up to you. So Dig, taking it slow, grabbing up the extra gold around the map. They've established such good vision. They can continually increase this gold lead without any risk at all.
I'm sure they have more than just Dragon Timer on the map right now. They're probably privy about the spawns of both blue and red buff for XDG. So they have a lot of things on their book they can take an even bigger advantage here. Scar is going to grab up blue. It looks like Dignitas is going to go ahead, take a breath, relax a little bit, and we can see 1,200 on both Cruiser and Scar to go back and buy. Look at that mid lane difference. It's 9,800 to 7,800. So that's kind of apparent in all the lanes, the lead for Dignitas.
Yeah, they did a great job in the early game getting ahead, and they've kept it up. Scar now has some spell penetration to go along with that powerhouse, Death Cap and DFG. So if he catches Smithy from the shadows again, Smithy's not ready for it with the spell shield, then it'll be death this time for Smithy.
Crum's just walking around. Feels like he's pretty welcome in the jungle. He has an escape route. He's good. Oh, he kicks him as soon as Ragnarok goes on. Quite an unfortunate event. Here comes the teleport in. Benny's into the fight with the ult on, and Cruiser's going to be there to welcome it in. That's a big damage from a barrel from Skara. It is the chase coming in. Kiwi Kid on the backside. Tibbers is still up. No, Tibbers is coming around. He had thrown it down. And we're going to see what he can do.
He's still on the run here, but he's been cornered
there
by
he goes.
Mundo.
He gets Tibbers back. He may be able to save a little bit of damage here and deal some more out. Benny getting the kill with Smithy on that.
So they were able to get a fight outside of a turret, and they were able to annihilate Cutie Pie before the fight even started. That's the only reason they got Dignitas on the run. Now they need to make something happen after that kill, because this is a small window that will not open very often. XDG have to capitalize on this.
Ooh, Smithy taking a lot.
There they go.
All have to walk around. Are they ready to keep engaging onto this? They did get Dig to spread out. This is what XDG has been wanting, a bit of Dig to group, but in a scattered way. They're in pods of 2, pods of 3, and we saw Skara didn't even want any more of that fight.
Yeah, they got a little bit more damage, and they got Scar's flash, but it's not quite enough to fully get them back. So they need to return back to the passive playstyle and hope for another scattered pick. If they can find Dig again somewhere away from turrets. Oh, he's able to spell shield, though. He was ready for this one. It didn't come from Fog of War that time.
Oh, Crumb's blowing the blast. Wait a minute. Skara wanted more. The undertow's there. Bloodwater's just behind. Ragnarok is back off the solar flare. Whoa, are they going too far, though? A great kill for Zuna. Calling coming in from Cutie Pie, but he cannot get enough damage to make it count.
Sometimes you just got to let him run away. Skara wanted that one a little bit too much. They were very, very sad about letting him slip through their fingers, and overcommitting to that chase kill could be, again, another opportunity for XDG. They're slowly getting back into this.
It's one of those small shutdowns we were talking about. It is 2 kills, not huge, but that is good gold that they're going to be getting on to champions they need.
And look at this reaction from Dig. They are like, wow, we just keep getting caught out. Instant 4 pink wards up here, 4 sweepers. They are going full on with this Vision War here. They've just spent so much money into this. They're definitely going to be looking to control the Baron area and forcing XDG into a bad spot.
They force XDG into a bad spot, and we see Cutie Pie kind of doing the same thing here with the Cutlass on his Lucian build because of always having to be in a bad spot. He gives himself a little more kiting.
Yeah, the Trinity Force Blade of the Ruined King Lucian gained a bit of popularity starting over in Korea, as a lot of things do. And he's just jumped right on that train. He actually went with the Last Whisper before grabbing that sucker, so it's an interesting little twist that he's got on it, so he can actually do damage to Mundo early. And it'll be very interesting to see how he uses that blade later in the game to kite around. Because he is Lucian, you know, with the possibility of resetting his dash. He's got very high mobility late game if he can land one of those kills.
So looking at Dignitas now, you know, even social media, themselves said they falter when we don't hit those wheelhouse champions, when it's the comfort picks. Back on the comfort picks, and things are right as rain again.
Yeah, Skara with that Gragas. There's a reason that people always ban it against him. This is a fight away from turrets. Dignitas are going to take this one.
Quite a bit on Cruiser to start it off, though. Kiwi Kid's on the backside. He does get Timbers out. It's on to Benny. Not too much of the back line, though. It is going to be good damage onto Cruiser. That's the tank being put out. The fadeaway calling from Cutie Pie doesn't allow the engage, but XDG's heading down mid lane.
They didn't get it really a chance to set up all the vision that they had purchased there. Dig, with 4 pink wards, 4 sweepers, were just getting to work over in the Baron area, but XDG capitalized. Again, this is still that Zerg comp that's all about these open area fights, and this is where they're thriving. They're able to get another 2 kills, another foot, another step back into the game.
This is getting a little scary here for Dignitas to see so many fights go in the favor of XDG. It's got to be weighing on the minds of Dig right now. They are still trying to stay grouped. They still have the power coming from Skara, but we can see without that defensive build, he's forced to be out of the fight a little more than he wants to be.
Yeah, I mean, they do need to kite back, as we said before, versus very melee-heavy team. The other opportunity is to catch people out on the other side.
Oh, ManCloud, a very slippy. Oh, he actually going to get a kill here. A beautiful hit. The wind slash already came out, I believe. and that's just going to wear off. A great save on Skara.
Yeah, at least still blinking down there. 40 HP, he's fine. Getting back all the way to the turret now, though. ManCloud, that's the danger of Riven, even late game Riven, who was shut down 1-3. He still got the Bloodthirster plus Last Whisper. That's enough to be able to burst down somebody like Skara, who went full offense, as you said.
ManCloud likes to be on those OP playmaking champions. A lot of people see Riven as not being too strong right now, but you can see once you get her to that point again, she still scales where she used to be. She can still be Riven. ManCloud still looks to carry his team on that. 264 to 277. He's really gotten himself back in CS with the focus. I mean, they haven't been able to do much on Dig's side of the map, so farming has been their only choice.
Yeah, and they're farming right back into this. They're almost back to even gold here with the extra dragon on top of the play from ManCloud right there.
Yep.
That play just earned them a very late game dragon, which is worth so much more gold. As soon as the average level hits that 16, it's all the way up to 1,300 gold for your team. Not quite there yet, but pretty close.
See on the side of XDG, they do have a little bit of armor pen coming out now. Like we said, that's affecting Skara. It affected pretty hard on Cruiser too. He went down first in that fight. XDG.
There's the teleport, they go in.
There it is coming on the right side. The Solar Flare just on the left, and they're going to engage. They are right in each other's face here. Crumbs tries to get into the fight. He goes out. His shield comes on. The Ignite may take him down, but he lives. Benny's trying to get to the end of the fight here. The barrel goes in. Though XDG is splitting a little too much here, and they need to communicate. Cruiser back onto Benny. They didn't want any more of the fight, but Dignitas did. You get great attacks coming out here. Smitty takes the boomerang blade back, but it didn't shred too much. Skara now a little too much ahead of the team. And Dig and XDG trading kills back and forth.
Dig were able to kite backwards this time, and then they turn it around on Mundo after everybody's in the retreat. Pretty sure Cutie Pie able to use his Blade of the Ruined King on the exiting Mundo. So they secure the kill on the tank, and then go even deeper for more, but Skara has to pay for that one with his life. Body slamming in for the extra damage. Gets cut down pretty early, and they want to answer for a couple objectives after their team fight win.
Crumbs is just moving so fast to utilize vision in the jungle after that attack. He saw Smithy, but he said, my job right here is to get vision. We're going to come back for this. Just you wait.
It's so exciting when both teams are really built around those mid-game team fights here.
Right.
Very close which one will come out
Super
on
explosive.
top. But the Sivir is really helping out for XDG. It was a long time that Dig had to wait out the On the Hunt duration to let them do that re-engage. But it was played fairly well, and they did get the extra global gold from the mid-turret. All right, so let's watch it again. The teleport comes in at the same time. Kiwi Kid and Leona both initiating at the same time. Here's Crumbs. You got to pull back right now. They're trying to kite for the duration of this On the Hunt. Everybody's running backwards. There goes the Randuin's proc as well. ManCloud wanted to get up to Crumbs execute, but Benny is the one who got the last notification that they were on the retreat.
Yeah.
So he starts walking back a little bit later than everyone else. Cutie Pie went in, slowed him with Blade of the Ruined King, and then Skara trades for Zuna. Ended up getting a turret as well, so very, very close still.
That was a great turn there by Dignitas, but also XDG for keeping their head in the game, doing as much damage as they can before any of the teammates go down. Really, XDG's ultimates for Dignitas, as they consider them, like you said, they just need to kite it out. Benny is a channel. You have On the Hunt channeling for a period of time. If they just outweight those, even Windslash coming from Riven, if those are all down, they get this fight in their favor instantly.
Yeah, you say just wait them out. It's pretty hard to outrun
it's a lot
Sivir
easier to say.
On the Hunt. They've got a Leona for the long range and double Randuin. So yeah, it is touch and go here. It's pretty hard, but they have a talisman of their own. Now they're trying for it.
Oh, forced to flash. He almost got stuck up there on the dead turret.
Cutie
Pie is able to get out of this one as well. He gets that talisman of ascension speed.
Can Renekton get down in time? This is the time for the re-engage.
Oh, he has got such a good cut on the pie here. He can make it into the entire team. Cruiser may throw on dominance as he enters. It's going to be a 3v1. The TMS damage as well. He's right onto ManCloud. Dignitas is just flooding in now to this fight. A little late on the backside, but XDG has turned tail.
He only hits Zuna onto the sidewall, though. Now they have to back off once again. Both teams using up all the ultimates. They have to disengage now. You don't want to give control of the map away at this point in the game, though. Look at the giant wave down bottom for Dig.
Yeah.
And no vision for XCG on Baron. this is the point where you make a risky call. This, you have to choose. If you want to end the game now,
oh dear,
they're going for it. This is still very risky, though. 3 members of XDG might be enough to contest this. If they just wait around and poke them inside the turret, they could cause Dignitas to be very scared and abort their mission.
Baron looking a little low here. They do want to abort Kobe. They're going on to Bloodwater. Zuna comes up from the backside. That's some low HP bars on Dig. Does XDG have the focus to pull this fight in their favor? Cruiser goes down immediately.
Oh
Smithy's big there with a double kill. Cutie Pie. Dig, why did you go for Baron?
Calling to the face. Ouch.
Wow.
Classic Dig, I guess. They made the risky call, and they saw Mandatory Cloud down bottom, but that's Riven, one of the fastest champions in the game, using all those dashes. She was able to join the fight, and now it is actually G's turn to go for this ban. Crumbs, everything is on you for the steal now.
Great move by ManCloud. Has to do it. Throws the Ignite down. The Smite is completely out of range. XDG coming up with Baron at 38 minutes.
That's just pure frustration on Dig's side. They spent all that money purchasing 4 sweepers and 4 oracles, or 4 pink wards, and they never got it down. But here's the fight. Yes, they've got Mundo throwing cleavers at you inside the Baron pit. You're going to get antsy. In come the harass from Sivir as well. They're just buying time, buying time. Here comes Mandatory Cloud. Dignitas turn around. They're all grouped up for Zuna slow, and he just goes berserk. They pop on the hunt. This is the melee team in action. They don't let you escape, taking out 3 members, and then obviously they get the Baron after this. Culling to the face does not hurt at all.
Ooh.
Easily able to finish him off.
They look great, just holding the shield up in front of the Culling and completely taking him down in the end. Said, you have no chance. Cutie Pie still trying to do what he can here. He is 306 to 296, but he does not have that 5-0 and 5 score that Xmithy has found on that Sivir this game. And they were giving him kills to help him get a little snowball. We saw a few like Kiwi Kid waiting around in the bottom lane, give Xmithy the last hit, and he's been doing great. Right now with double buff, Infinity Edge, going into the Spectral's Cowl, now for a little bit of safety. Finally, 40 minutes into the game. We did say XDG was behind, but they're getting everything they need now.
Man, Bloodwater, when he's got his W on, has got 260 armor himself. So, no wonder the Culling's not hurting that much. Even with the last Whisper, he's a tank as well. So many tanks on this XDG team. They're all melee, but they've got 3 really strong tanks now, with the only real full damage sources being ManCloud and Smithy. And those 2 are the focus targets. So Dig looking to pick off either one of those guys. If they can get one early, then they might be able to actually turn one of these fights around. But currently, Baron buff is enough to allow XDG to grab up more turrets.
More turrets, the gold lead in their favor now. Things are completely swinging their way. It was the mid to late game that social media, the fans, and even XDG said that's where they have a hard time. I don't think we saw trouble mid to late game for them here.
Well, they've really focused themselves with these champions. They're like, well, our only option is to go all in. Like, everybody's on the same page now. You can't be on any other page because that's all you can do with these champs. We have to go all in. We chase with our on the hunt and just...
It is a composition that can fall apart
kill whoever you can catch. Game plan, kill whoever you can catch.
I was asking Kobe, when are we going to see the on the hunt to get that one person? It's actually been the face-to-face fights that Dignitas has been now giving over to XDG. Good wave clear still, though, to come from Dignitas. Skara doing what he can on Gragas, so it's still going to be very hard for turrets to get taken down if they're not getting split.
And now it's a completely different story. Since XDG are actually ahead, they can make use of the teleport advantage, and they can slowly get the side. Here we go, initiation, this time from Dig.
They do have to deal with Ragnarok here, so it's going to be a very long chase, but they all crush down. Wait a minute, Kiwi Kid's in the back. Timbers does get used, but it goes down immediately. Crumbs is there to try and help, but he's just a meat shield right now. Cutie Pie gets shredded, surgically removed by Xmithy there in the Boomerang Blade, and they are going to keep moving on to the base.
Teleport comes in from Benny, evens up the odds there. You know, Dig really trying to make something happen with the numbers advantage, but they could not get a good Timbers there, and this is going to be XDG walking straight into the base.
Dignitas with their backs against the wall after controlling the first 20 minutes of the game, now 6,000 gold behind after being in the lead the entire time.
That is the best news for XDG, because the hard part for this team is getting inside the inhibitor turrets.
My word.
But since Dig chase outside of turret range, They get a free window right up the mid lane through the inhibitor turret. Now they've got an open door into the base, and it's going to be a lot easier for them to finish this one out.
Mundo's getting pretty tanky. We see where the line of Cruiser kind of stops in that scale going up, and Mundo really has the advantage now. Even as far behind in CS as he is, he's got the 10 assists and the 2 kills, and he is providing to be a huge front line with Zuna for these fights. And as you said, Bloodwater too. They have 3 gigantic tanks with so much damage behind it in Man, Cloud, and Xmithy.
Yeah, that's support / tank Bloodwater is really beefy right now. So here's the attempted chase. The Tibbers, as we said, they weren't able to get anyone important. They weren't even able to get anyone at all because Zuna pops Ragnarok. Once that Tibbers is down, there's no stopping this just stampede from XDG. So, you know, Kiwi Kid, he did his best, I guess. But, man, they really were not in range.
Cruiser almost had no effect in that fight. Man, Cloud dashed right by him, and they killed Kiwi Kid instantly. And you saw Cruiser, he's like, I don't think I'm going to come back in. Really wasn't a factor in the fight. So with him now in the base, maybe they will find something around one of the turrets that needs to be pushed by XDG. They're not going to be down mid. That inhibitor is down, and we got about 1 minute and 30 on both Baron and Dragon.
So difficult. I mean, chasing really far out the base. I mean, they had no counter engage with the Tibbers down, and they also had no escape plan because Talisman was used offensively. So they really exposed themselves there, and now it's going to be a full defense plan for Dig. It's code red right now.
Code red.
They've got a
double Thornmail. Bring them out. We got 1 onto Cruiser, 1 onto Crumbs. They are against a very heavy attack damage team in XDG right now. We got the Guardian Angel now onto Man Cloud. He can go even a little more ham if he wants to. The Banshee's Veil on Xmithy. They may walk something in here.
Yeah, the thing about going attack damage heavy, once you get Last Whispers and Black Cleavers on your main damage dealers, then it actually doesn't, it's not that big of a detriment. The Thornmails will hurt a bit, but a lot of these champions have lifesteal too. You can see double Bloodthirsters on the 2 damage dealers. Man Cloud just, he life leeches ridiculous amounts, as well as Smithy, so he can sustain through that damage.
Banshee's Veil and
there's
the
just bubbles
spell
all
shield.
over him.
Very nicely done. Doesn't take any damage from that quick poke of Scar's barrel. A little bit of Lee Sin Qage. 20 seconds onto the Baron. The Dragon is going to be alive, and Dignitas has a beautiful advantage and a huge minion wave up top. Teleport is not up for Benny, so this is kind of a scatter for XDG.
They actually are just posturing, trying to keep Dig from getting position around Baron. It looks like they don't even want to let Dig inside to get ward coverage of that area.
Human defense.
So they're posturing right now, and Dig, after the failed last engage that was out in the open, doesn't look like they're willing to try and take advantage of Mundo over in the top lane. That, or they don't have the exact timer on teleport. It's pretty close to coming up now,
That's true.
so you really have to be very spot on with that teleport to go, the teleport timer to go for an initiate at that time.
Got to consider it's up, and it may hurt you a little bit because they could have engaged there, could have gotten a nice fight.
That could be
Cutie Pie, a little close to the front line. It's going on to Cruiser. They had enough damage to take him out immediately last time. The kick is only onto Benny. Everybody sidestepped that. Beautiful job. It's going to be 5 members of Dig. The calling comes out. Benny's going to be the blocker there with the meat shield. Cruiser's going to go down here. Xmithy focus him very quick. Zuna with the help, and it looks like XDG is going to take the inhibitor on this one. If they can push a little bit more. Tibbers is trying to give him the zonage, and they got it.
Kill whoever you can catch, even if it's Renekton. They're able to burn him down, keep him slowed constantly with the cleavers, and On the Hunt enables them to finish that chase. Now that Baron is up, it's the perfect time here for XCG, taking out the inhibitor and the main tank for Dig. If Dig get close to this Baron, then XCG can immediately turn around. But XCGs have to be always wary. Baron, Baron steals. Baron steals are very real. Gragas is a high priority Baron stealing champion, and Lee Sin as well.
This game could very well go in the favor of Dignitas in just a few seconds. Man Cloud didn't make it over the wall. He's forced to flash. Crumbs does have an accessible way into the Baron pit. He gets hit up a little bit more. They are holding damage on Baron. They're kind of pushing this off. Benny taking big damage from the outside. Crumbs is in. Baron is nowhere near smite range, and Crumbs goes down. It's a shutdown going to Xmithy. He is having an amazing game right now on Sivir. XDG keeps her eyes focused is on champions as well as the Baron. ManCloud keeps it alive with a bit of lifesteal, and he takes down Cutie Pie.
Well, that was a last-ditch effort for Dig. Trying to go for the steal on that Baron. Really good attempt, but man, Crumbs going in too early. Gets cut down. No chance at smiting that away because XDG play it well, and they keep the Baron above smite range long enough to take down that jungler. And they even are able to get the consolation prize of Dragon.
It was really great coordination to stop attacking.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's like, well, I'd rather tank Baron at this point. We're also tanky.
Yeah, good point.
It's not really doing that much to us. So ManCloud jumps over to try and zone Crumbs. When that fails, they turn back on the Baron here. And you can see the call made. As soon as they go back on the Baron, Scar and Crumbs rush towards it because they think XDG are going to burn it down. It's so low, you know, that's a very real possibility. So you can't fault Dig too much for that play.
Oh, wow.
It's really touch and go when the Baron is that low. So they made their attempt, but it was just a bit too early, and XDG come out on top.
And everything is happening the way they want it to right now. Somehow they have grabbed themselves a 10,000 gold lead, and I guess we should say somehow they have played spectacular in the past 18 minutes of game. They started taking over just before 30 minutes. 7 turrets in their favor now. All that gold came as such a huge surge too. It's not something Dignitas was expecting to see in the next fight.
Yeah, XDG were they played the waiting game well. They were so far behind, they were like, okay, we can't make the plays ourselves. They wait for Dig to actually start off the plays.
Outplay themselves.
And then we have on the hunt. We have the mobility advantage. We pop that every single time there's even an opportunity for a fight. And since they got 2 wins in a row for the small team fights inside the jungle, they're able to get right back in this game and force so many of those fights where they're able to just take out Scar, take out Cutie Pie before it even starts up. All that damage, all those damage items meant nothing from Scar and from Cutie Pie because they had no life.
Full build, full item Xmithy coming out pretty strong now. Puts the Zephyr in, and these guys are even bigger in the tank category. 3 Randuins coming out. Kobe, you said Dig was going to have to kite. I don't think it's going to be that easy anymore.
So, as we said, I already mentioned the armor on Bloodwater. He's pushing 300 now. They can easily tank up turrets, inhibitor turrets here. And Mundo's got his teleport once again. He wouldn't even have to use it. He could run down pretty much in the time that it takes the channel at this point. So it's XDG looking very fierce at the moment because Baroned up, they can easily go for a turret dive.
I like this buy from Kiwi Kid. He's still trying to have an impact too with his Deathfire Grasp. The Tibbers is up for this next engagement. We're 50 minutes in, the longest game of this week, I believe, here. 18-9, XDG has persevered through a bad early game, and it looks like they're going strong onto the fight. Cutie Pie on the backside, what a solar flare, and again on the boomerang. Xmithy is just hitting those spot on today. Crumbs is gonna fall. XDG coming from very far behind in this game, and it looks like they're gonna grab a victory.
They tried to burn everything to obliterate Smithy right at the beginning of the fight, and they almost caught him, but quick flashes, quick spell shield, Smithy gets out alive.
History may have repeated itself here in this game, the last game of the day, Kobe. Baron is not something to be toyed with. XDG was able to grab a huge advantage here at 30 minutes, 21-9. They put themselves up a nice chunk of gold at the end, but they get the victory, and that's all that matters.
They're definitely happy about the victory, happy about ending the losing streak. But there were definite mistakes in the early game. All of the lanes, actually. A couple mistakes. Going very aggressive. ManCloud, dying to Scar mid, overextending by himself.
We're throwing.
Up in the top lane as well. Some nice ganks. Some turret diving action. Good back and forth, though. Both teams.
Film to be watched there. Yeah, film to be watched by Dignitas after this game. Definitely to see where they went wrong. It kind of sticks out as a sore thumb, that first Baron, because Dig had such a great early game. They were just pushing XDG against the wall. They were completely on their heels, almost falling over. It's like XDG's silent. What are they going to do next? Do they have what it takes? And they knew the whole time. The mentality was there, and we haven't seen that from XDG this season.
It looked like they got a little bit anxious in the mid-game when they started coming up against this Sivir team in action, speeding up all these melee bruisers. They were not able to win the team fights, and then they kind of rushed themselves into that Baron. By seeing man climb bottom, they were like, yes, take this opportunity, but they didn't have enough damage to burn down Baron quick enough. And we saw, again, one of the classics for Dig that's going to haunt them, the Baron fights.
Whatsoever. Zuna getting Olaf this game as well. Played well for himself. He didn't have a huge score. It was 3-3-13. It was really about XDG this game. He's been kind of criticized. The mechanics, are they there? They're there. Sivir coming out here 10-0-8 this game. And it was beautiful. Like you said, they were waiting for the on the hunt. And when they got it, they started to formulate perfectly.
And the mechanics were crucial there. A lot relies on Smithy not getting caught out early. Every time that they initiated on him and they were burning Tibbers, they were burning Scar's full combo, trying to take him down, he would immediately flash out. He would immediately spell shield. Everything that he was doing was just to live long enough to supply on the hunt to the rest of his team. And he was able to do that multiple fights in a row, which got them the huge gold advantage.
You know, XDG was our most improved player of a split, right? So he can do it again in another position. We'll have to see. A lot of these players have played multiple positions, and it just takes a while for him to get the handle on it.
Especially on XDG.
Yeah.
They'd like to switch around as well. It seems like every team in the league nowadays, all the players, I guess, are becoming very versatile, though, because of all the switching that's going on and all the subbing.
All the subs and all the subs that are being picked up, not necessarily subs, but, you know, TSM picking up all the members, somebody for jungle, somebody for top lane. You got to consider, if one of these guys can't play, you have to have somebody who's on par at that caliber ready to take that seat.
And also, you know, kind of makes all the players that are currently on the roster have to look over their shoulders and, you know, keep up the practice and keep everybody motivated.
Yeah. Dignitas here really thought they were going to grab the win. So did the percentage, and it was a falter on the Baron. XDG is coming around, something we hadn't seen from them until the end of the split. Same thing with Coast. They're kind of late blooming teams. This might be what they needed to kind of get things going a little earlier.
They're definitely a momentum-based team as well. You know, both of these guys, as we mentioned before. And it's going to be a pretty big boost for XDG, but it wasn't the cleanest of wins. So
that's true.
They still have a lot to work on as well. You're talking about film to watch. I think both sides definitely have a lot to improve on.
It can always be the stressful win. We've seen it on many faces of these players.
Yeah.
If it goes that long, you know mistakes were made. You can still be unpleased with how it went. You kind of hear that in Korean play as well. You're like, wow, they had an immaculate game. And they're like, I made mistakes in lane, and I don't want to do that again. It's great to hear that the players know, like, I went 10-0-1, but there were mistakes. And you have to be able to improve on each game. Last year, I was a little afraid for Cloud9. They keep winning. You know, there are some mistakes, but how do you improve on that if you keep winning?
Yeah.
So
if you never lose, then you don't get the chance to explore your weaknesses.
It just keeps working. Right now, however, we're going to send it over to Jat, who's joined by two members of the victorious XDG.
Thank you very much, Riv. And, of course, I'm joined by Zuna and XSmithy, guys who have swapped roles at the start. But first off, that game was a little bit crazy. What were you guys thinking early game?
I was thinking, okay, he died top. I'm going to try and make a play and recover it and carry the game. And then I messed up, and I got outplayed because he still had flash. And I was like, oh, God, this is not good. And then Cloud died right after me, and we were like, well, this game might be a stomp, but they didn't put up as much pressure. It was more of us making mistakes than them actually playing really well. So we recovered after that and got a good catch, or a good few catches.
Yeah, I mean, XSmithy right there, 10-0-8 on Sivir. You haven't been playing too much Sivir lately in the LCS. Could we see more of that?
It usually depends on the composition of our team. It's usually not bot lane wise. It's just mostly like, oh, if you want catch or move speed all over the team fights, we pick Sivir.
And you guys also realized you were very far behind early, but you had something to say about Scar's item build, I believe, in that game. Do you think you could have done something better?
I think if you went death cap early, it would have just been a lot more damage instead of just trying to instant kill one person, because I don't think he got a gib on anyone. But besides that, he played well.
Yeah, and we actually have a Baron fight that happened. There's a couple Baron fights, but one particularly fortunate one for you guys. It happened around 38 minutes, and I was actually hoping you guys would be able to talk me through what happened in one of these fights, because there's been some Baroning between you guys and Dignitas. Not too well for either teams, but what happened here, and just talk me through it.
All right. Smithy, you call most of it.
But you do it.
I got you.
All right, let's roll it.
Okay, we're in there. We see them. We're like, okay, they're starting Baron. It's getting pretty low. I didn't have home guard money, so I was like, just make sure they don't do it. I was like, Benny, go in, and then he's like, they can't do it that quick. So we started zoning them, and Baron's doing most of the damage, and then they force the engage on us. And then once they come in, they group up. I'm like, okay, I can just tank them right now. They have no chance of killing me. And then they went on me. I was like, okay, I'm dead. I'm out. And then we just started cleaning up because even though it looks like we won the fight, it was mostly Baron. I think Baron took off like 40% of all of them. And then once they got out of position, we just got the free kills, and then we just got Baron after it.
And at that point, it seemed like you guys just controlled the game throughout. But even leading up to that, what was your mindset like, knowing you had such a poor early game?
Our mindset came to they don't really have a fast Baron team. So them doing Baron isn't as scary as we need to be like, oh, they could be on Baron, it's gone instantly. And so all they have really good is catching. So we were just really scared to face check unless it was one of our big tanks, because if they blew everything on a big tank, we still might be able to win a fight. So all we had to do was make sure that if we scale in the late game, we'll win. So just don't let them get the Baron.
Yeah, you guys definitely had a superior team composition. And Smithy, I actually want to ask you a little bit about ManCloud right now, because he had such a fantastic split last year, and he's had a very slow start there. What do you think's going on with him?
I think it's just the meta shift right now. Most of his champions are not in like the star, like in the show light. I think he just needs to be comfortable on more of the meta champions right now, because mostly his Riven, Zed, most of that got nerfed, and he needs to focus on more like AP champions, because he likes going AD melee all the time. And usually I'm there to back him up before, but I think shifting our like playstyle right now is, I think, going to be better in the long run.
All right, and Zuna, final question for you. Where do you think XDG kind of goes from here? Because you guys are still near the bottom of the standings. What do you need to do most to improve?
What we need to do most is improve our early game. I think that's pretty much where we're faltering really hard, is just we're getting outplayed in lots of lanes lots of times. If we improve that, because our biggest strength was our early game and our band picks, and if we can adjust to our early game just as strong as we had it before, I think we'd be a top contender again.
All right, thank you very much, guys. Congratulations on the victory. And now to close out the day, let's send it back to Rip and Kobe at the caster's desk.
Thank you, Jat, and let's check out who our OP players of Week 4 are. In the top lane, it is going to be Team Solo Mid's Dyrus with a 35 KDA. He managed to end the week without dying, and then in their game against Evil Geniuses, he carried Team Solo Mid on his back when Bjergsen had an off game.
And our OP jungler for the week is Dignitas Crumbs, the shot caller. You know, he's really been able to focus the teams, and he's also been the focus of the bans from their opponents. But he's been able to show off his deep champion pool. Going with 3 different champions in 3 different games, he ends the week going 7, 10, and 20.
And we have Link proving that man in the mid lane is just like riding a bike, or manning the mid lane, I should say. He had a strong first game back, and going 8-1-6 on the Blanc, not too shabby.
OP as AD carry is the birthday boy, Wild Turtle. He helped Dyrus in their first game of the week against Evil Geniuses with his Sivir ultimates, and then dominated the bot lane today against Curse.
And our final OP player was Cloud9's Lemonation. He helped his team with his roaming game and gave his team a head start in the team fights with his clean initiations. He did this all without dying this week. The player who has broken away from the pack to be this week's MVP is Meteos.
Meteos has been making great plays and carrying Cloud9 in their 2 games this week as Lee Sin. He had an 86% kill participation, including securing and assisting in both First Bloods. Shows you can help your team even if you have to live on the enemy's side of the map. To give you an idea, he took 16 buffs, Tukos only 6 buffs in that game.
Gush, how do you even play when you don't have those buffs? You should actually just try to play a game without getting buffs so you can play against Meteos.
Definitely a less colorful game.
It's like, this is how you play against Meteos. We don't have any buffs, guys. Another week of LCS action comes to a close, so let's take a look at the standings now. In first place, it's Team Solo Mid with 9 wins and only 1 loss.
Then in second, we have Lemonation and Cloud9. Holding it in third is Dignitas, 6 wins.
Then in fourth, we have Dexter and Counterlogic Gaming with an even 5-5, and Curse sits in 5th place with 4 wins.
And in 6th place, it's the tie between Evil Geniuses and XDG. Then sitting in last is Coast, of course, with those 2 wins and 8 losses.
Indeed, the action returns Thursday with the EU LCS as SK Gaming faces off against Fnatic.
Then the 4th place, Copenhagen Wolves take on the 4th place Super Hot Crew.
Then the NALCS kicks off Saturday, February 15th, with Counter Logic Gaming facing off against Cloud9.
Then after that, Evil Geniuses will take on Curse, followed by Coast versus XDG Gaming.
And then in our fourth match, Team Solo Mid will battle it out with Team Dignitas. And in the NA Challenger Series, Sunday, we'll get our first spring finals with a best-of-3 showdown between LMQ and the winner of tonight's game between Determined and Cognitive Gaming. And a quick reminder, tickets are still available to attend the Challenger Series finals following our LCS show here in the studio on February 16th. Then, on February 22nd and 23rd, we will play host to the North American Collegiate Championship.
As usual, you can head over to LO Esports for all the details. Just click on the tickets link.
Now let's send it over to Freak and Zyrene for the North American Challenger Series.
Thank you very much, Riven. Welcome, everyone, to the 2014 North American Challenger Series, brought to you thanks in part to our friends at Coca-Cola. I am still David Freak Turley. We got a new face here, Aiden Zyrene Moon. How's it going?
Well, I'm going to be talking about video games with you for Riot in the Challenger Series, and I didn't mess up my intro. High five, man. Let's do this. Give them a schedule.
And the high five was good. So that's 6 good points there. Those are hard sometimes. I'm sure you guys have all missed a high five sometime. I know I have. Coming up tonight, we have our second North American Challenger Series semifinal, Determined Gaming versus Cognitive Gaming.
Yeah, and the winner of tonight's best-of-3 series will advance to next week's finals, where they'll take on LMQ live on the LCS stage.
Yeah, and because seeing is believing, let's take a look at the Challenger Series bracket. The winner of tonight's game between Determined and Cognitive not only advance to the finals, they'll lock down a spot in the quarterfinals of the second spring series that kicks off in less than a month.
And while the winners will automatically earn a trip to the quarters, the losers of this week's semifinals, they aren't finished.
No.
They will compete next Saturday's third-place match against Skyline, with the winning team locking in the final automatic berth into the quarterfinals of the second spring series. Meanwhile, the fourth-place finisher of that match will have to go back to the ranked 5s ladder in order to requalify.
We'll see if they can do it. They made it the first time, obviously. Now, for the teams competing tonight, there's more on the line than just advancing to the second series. There are Challenger points up for grabs as well. Challenger points are what actually determines who advances into the Challenger Series playoffs that take place at the conclusion of the second spring series.
And the 6 teams that accumulate the most Challenger Series points over the 2 spring series will earn a spot in the playoffs. And the teams that finish in the top 3 of the playoffs will then advance to the summer promotion tournament and get a shot at making it into the LCS summer split. So there's absolutely no pressure on the 2 teams tonight or anything.
Yeah, LCS qualifiers,
Not
whatever.
a big deal. Want to play video games for a living?
I didn't have to win tournaments to get into the LCS.
This is probably the easier route, though.
Yeah, right. Just try casting, guys. Don't worry. All right, if you feel like all that information came in like a Rammus ball, simply make your way over to lolesports.com for a second look.
Yeah, there you'll find everything you need to know about the Challenger Series under the Leagues and Tournaments tab. Choose the NA Challenger Series from the pull-down menu and knowledge buff up.
All right, guys, let's get to it. Our last semifinal series of the night. Best of 3 between Determined Gaming and Cognitive Gaming, a showdown featuring 2 of the 3 Challenger teams that participated in the North American Spring Promotion Tournament.
Yeah, and Cognitive Gaming was handpicked by Curse as the team they wanted to face in the promo tourney, and Curse, they had first pick.
Yeah.
So they thought that Cognitive was the weakest of the 3, and they shocked everybody and Curse when Cognitive took the first game off them.
Yeah.
And then they dropped the next 3 to Voyboy and Crew. In Determined Gaming, they didn't fare any better. They failed to win a single game against the newly formed Evil Geniuses and were swept into the Challenger Series.
So now both these teams automatically placed into the quarterfinal round here because, of course, they did qualify for the promo tournament. But last week, they both walked away with wins in those quarterfinal matches.
Yeah, Determined Gaming had a very impressive showing, taking out Curse Academy in 2 straight games. They were led to victory by their AD carry, Robert X. Lee, who racked up 13 kills and 12 assists while only dying 3 times.
Yeah, really good performance. Another player who put up big numbers for them as well was the newest guy on the team, mid laner Prolly.
Yeah, and although he's been on the Challenger scene for a while, most LCS fans will know him from his time on the LCS Summer Split Team Complexity. And just a little fun thing to throw out there, DTG was picked up by Complexity last night, so Prolly's actually back on a Complexity roster now.
Yes, he is.
So, might requalify under the same name. Cole Prolly. Let's see it happen. So he played his first games as a member of Determined Gaming last week up against Curse Academy and put up a combined KDA of 17 in 2 games, and that's higher than anyone in the Challenger Series right now. He actually overtook LMQ last night.
Well, there you go. So some great performances by him. And now Determined Gaming, they rolled through the quarterfinals, but it did take Cognitive 3 games to advance to the semis here.
Cognitive had a tough time against VVV Gaming White in the quarterfinals. Their last match went back and forth before Cog finally took down the Nexus at the 58-minute mark.
Yeah, an hour-long game. Freaking A.
That's a struggle.
Yeah, but Cog was led to victory by the only 2 players with a positive KDA on their team, Nothing Here and Zamfira.
Yeah, and while I know that mid lane Lulu is all the rage in the European LCS right now, we've got hipster Zamfira back here playing Lulu mid way back in Season 3 before it was cool.
Yep.
And he's had mixed results just like Europe has. In the first game, he went 8-1-10 on her, and in the second game, he went 0-5-4. In the final game, Zamfira ended up picking up Yasuo and combined his score to a 16-9-23 in those 3 games in the quarterfinal.
Yeah. And so while Zamfira had 2 solid games in COG's quarterfinal wins, it was their ADC Nothing Here that left nothing to chance. He cleaned up the team fights and earned his team a trip to the semis.
Yeah, Nothing Here was phenomenal in Game 1 of the series. He went 12-0-6 as Caitlyn. Then in Game 2, he was the only member of COG to not get crushed before showing off his Vayne mechanics in Game 3.
Yeah.
And overall, he went 21-4-16 combined in COG's 3 games.
Yeah. As these guys have played absolutely phenomenal. And I know one thing you wanted to point out as well. We talked about the mid Lulu. Lulu actually got through all 3 games.
He did.
Yeah.
It went down to Zane King in the bottom lane in the final one. And something else, too, is that both Robert and Nothing Here are Vayne players. Very high mechanics. I think I read it yesterday. Robert had a big montage of his Vayne skills. He got 2 pentakills in that, and he has great positioning around his support, even when he doesn't have communication with them in solo queue. So just intuitively knows how to position.
Yeah, he's incredibly skilled as a player. So we're going to see what these guys end up picking and banning here as we get ourselves into champion select. The Kassadin banned away by Cognitive. The Riven dropped away from Richie Rich. Shyvana also dropped off. DTG, a lot of early top lane bans.
Yeah, going after Richie Rich right here. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Renekton ban if they are going to ban complete top laner here. And it looks like COG has something else on the table. They're getting rid of Crawley's champion pool here.
Well, why not? It's his, signature champion basic here, the Ziggs.
The GG.
Yeah, type in GG, lock in whatever's left over. And what I'm also curious to see is if Kha'Zix gets dropped away as well. I know Broken Shard loves that one.
Broken Shard was phenomenal on that champion in the jungle. But Admiral Ziploc, the guy who gave himself a promotion, he was playing some esoteric things in COG. You know, they're kind of innovators here. They've done the jungle Amumu, they've done the support Morgana, and they've done the mid lane Lulu.
Yeah.
So we might see some new things here today.
We're not going to get to see it this game, though. Lulu is the final ban from the tournament gaming. So some pressure on West Rice with 2 top laners banned out. He's got his eye on something here. Now, we know Richie Rich is a big Renekton player as well. He's the R&R champions there for the top lane.
Well, he's got Richie Rich in his name, 2 Rs.
Yeah.
You got to go with those 2 R champions.
If one of them falls out of the meta, he'll find another one. Yeah. Rabbitin's Death Cat might be an item he likes.
He's not Darien.
No, I suppose. Well, no, that was Zonia's, I thought. Was it Zonia Shyvana?
I've been seeing all these comics online.
Yeah, he buys whatever he wants.
Yeah.
It's fine.
He doesn't care.
Nope. But no jungler bans whatsoever, and it's going to be West Rice first picking there for his team. Broken Shard's going to get Elise.
You can't ban Broken Shard out, so they didn't even try to do that.
Yep.
They start targeting towards Prawley, going to have him fall back on something else besides the champions we've seen from him so far. He's had great performances on those. So we're going to have an Elise jungle here for Broken Shard and throw it over to the 1-2 spots of Cognitive. But what does he really have left now?
Well, the weird thing is, like, I feel like a lot is still left, especially because I feel like all the mid lane bans by Cognitive were one-sided bans.
Yeah. And
kind of the same way here for Determined as well. And Cognitive just say, you know what, nothing's been touched in the bottom lane. What we want most of everything is Caitlyn Thresh.
Then they lock those 2 in for themselves. Caitlyn Thresh, high priority on that lane, picking it immediately. Kha'Zix is still on the table, so nobody wants to show their cards or their mid laner right now so that they can get counterpicked. But he's still extremely strong. LeBlanc is out there.
Yeah.
Seen a lot of play of her recently. You wouldn't think she'd be one of those OP champions, but bam, there she is.
Well, she's just, I feel like she's favored in a lot of ways. Like, because she's really adaptable too, right?
That's
you
true.
can max Q and be like, I'm going to kill you in lane, screw it, or you can go for the max distortion. Get like an Athene's if you really want it to wave clear if it's a bad matchup, and so she's adaptable, which I like.
We saw ManCloud do that previously.
Yeah.
And the fact that Mimic doesn't use the level of the spell anymore, it's just got a static thing for each ability, depending on the rank that it is fantastic. Gives a lot of versatility to that champion. And there's the Renekton. Throw it up to West Rice, which might leave Richie with Mundo and just some standard things there. So
see what else he goes for here. Yeah, Renekton's always like the tall top laner where it's like, he's probably going to do really well in lane, and then you try to hope to outscale him. Thinking of everything else that Richie Rich really even plays, like, nothing that he plays that often anymore. Riven and Renekton, again, being his top 2. Jax, we considered Renekton actually the counter to Jax back in the...
It was like Worlds.
Yeah, in Worlds, exactly.
Where Shen was being seen all over the place. Saw him a little bit in Europe, in the jungle from Diamond Prox. I think we saw him up top once, too. Not to huge success.
No.
Globals, they just haven't made their way back into the game.
Nah, we'll see, though. Pantheon, I guess, we have seen somewhat
That's
of.
true. That's a new one that's emerging, the Grand Skyfall.
And I like it.
Yeah, he's really, really good at ganking people. Like mid lane, just bam, right on top of people.
Yeah.
Saw it multiple times all throughout the LCS right now. They were hovering over Malzahar. I was like,
I wanted to see it.
Is Cog going to do it? Are they going to bring it? And whoa, Shen, hey!
All right.
Okay, so you know when I said the globals? Let's just rewind it a little bit.
Yeah, just kidding.
Right?
Globals are back, guys.
Globals are back.
Globals are back.
Didn't say what I said previously.
Shen versus Renekton in top lane, and a few teams, especially NALCS teams, I think, actually have been picking it up. So Kevin's been big on it for Millennium.
That's right.
Benny's been playing it from XDG. A couple of teams are starting to pick up the champion, and it seems like Richie Rich. I feel like any top laner hasn't forgotten Shen. So like, even if you haven't played it in solo queue,
that's true.
You probably still got the champion.
He's pretty safe.
Yep.
This will give him a lot of map pressure. He doesn't have to bring teleport like a Mundo does. So
you could.
You could do it. You could stand united somebody, then teleport back up to the lane. Just be like,
Yep.
I didn't miss any CS.
Yeah.
But we got Dragon. So I don't know what you're doing here, Renekton. He's twiddling his thumbs trying to push the turret.
I mean, former MYM Sharu was like, yeah, I'm gonna bring teleport Twisted Fate. Not even a big deal. I've actually seen him make plays because he had both spells up. Actually, he teleported to a team fight and then caught a runner with Destiny. It was actually pretty sweet.
What?
It was last bit of the LCS. There was a play in one of the first few weeks.
Oh.
One of the few games that team won.
The mid lane teleports are always really interesting to me. Like when Peke brought the Cassidon teleport, he's like, I'm just gonna play passive and then
counter
blow
everybody.
Into exactly. Blow into these fights.
Yep.
Huge burst.
Pretty scary.
Boom, LeBlanc.
All right, so LeBlanc is going to come through as an actual blind pick mid laner here, unless it's mid Lee Sim, which I doubt. Sivir going to go through for Robert Lee as well, and that to me is interesting because I personally hate playing Sivir against Caitlyn because you've got a 150 range disparity.
Yeah.
But we'll see if you can make it work.
Yeah, she can absorb her traps and stop her from putting the Yordle snap traps down.
Yeah.
Basically get mana back over and over and over again, so she can constantly throw out her boomerang blades. But so the matchup that's left here is the mid laner for Zamfira. He's been playing a lot of different things. I think he's been trying to throw off his scent. He's got some Teemo in there.
Yeah. Well, the weird thing is a lot of his big champions that I want to see, like AP Cog, AP Malzahar, I feel like would have a really rough time fighting LeBlanc.
Yeah, Kog'Maw against LeBlanc, no. That's just a nightmare for...
Dodge all the ultis, silence you just cry a little bit, and then blow up and do nothing. So, hover
That's
on Kale. Yeah.
That's a really good pick here.
Kale I like.
Yeah, you can stop the burst, use Divine Intervention preemptively before you end up having the Sigil of Silence blown up on you.
True.
And absorb all of that damage, and it's on a low enough cooldown that Mimic, I think, actually gets really close. So every time that Mimic's up, Kale will be able to Divine Intervention. It's very close.
It'll be close, yeah. Well, I know
max rank.
Kale's going to start with a 20 CDR item. He's going to rush Nashor's Tooth.
Yep.
Probably likely to go for Deathfire Grasp
So
more
he'll
so
have
than
the
the
CDR
Fiends. 10% from DFG. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know the
That's
numbers
pretty much all
in the
she
back of my
gets in terms of CDR as well.
Blue buff. Eh. I mean, for what it's worth, I guess. But we are here, the end of champs, like West Rice. Still holding on a teleport. I want to see if that stays. Because I feel like... Actually, I like teleport Renekton. He's fighting a Shen.
Yeah, exactly. So he can get down and follow him.
Yeah.
So he's not going to fall prey to what we were saying before, where he's just going to sit there and be like, I'm coming, guys, running all the way to Dragon. I'm coming. I'm going to get there eventually. Just don't die first.
Across the map with Boots 1. I feel like that's less effective.
That happens so often in solo queue. It's just like, he teleported down here. I'm coming, you guys. Just don't fight. Just, I'm coming.
Show up late to a dragon. It's already dead. It's actually respawned by the time you get down there. It's happened to me before.
I'm a bad enough player that usually that does happen.
Yeah.
In the
I
top
get distracted.
Lane,
Fighting minions. Got to farm.
Pushing minions.
Yes. Pulling the Riv commentary there. It's great. So coming into this one, right, Determined, I got to say, do come in as a favorite. I think they were the... I don't want to say objectively, but like at least the subjectively stronger team coming into like the spring promo tournament, right? Got sort of last picked by the LCS incumbents, and they certainly have put up good performances so far here as well.
And back when they were napkins in disguise, they still put up great scores in other tournaments off on the side, and Cognitive was usually lower on the ladder. Like when the three teams that emerged, the NIP, the TWZ, and the Cognitive, were the three ones that were going to face off against the relegated teams.
Yeah.
I didn't believe it. I thought it was going to be Complexity, possibly Quantic and things like that,
true.
but then there were internal problems and all of that. But Cog really stepped up their game and took some Titans down in that one.
Yeah, they've done a good job of kind of buffing themselves up here. We'll see how these teams can fare now. Right now, the battle line is just drawn as usual. So for these guys, just making sure that they see that the river is still flowing.
They've got the line of scrimmage here, and they don't have a TP on West Rice. He took Ghost.
Offsides from Broken Shard.
Oh, you got to restart it.
5 yards
That's it.
lost. Football season's over, and I've now started the football joke. Don't worry, it's the North American Challenger scene. I can say football and not have people yell at me.
Yeah, let's just hope that one of the teams isn't the Broncos.
Uh-oh.
Then you don't really have an exciting game on your hands.
I mean, points are still fun.
Yeah, well, if you get just put up 8 on the board, right?
Yeah.
As long as it's not a complete shutout. But yeah, West Rice took Ghost. He switched it at the last minute to
He's
maybe,
fighting people.
you know what? We were talking about running the dragon. That's what he's going to do. He's going to do it on foot with Ghost. He doesn't care about the TP. He's going to run straight there.
That does not seem like the right idea. Minions have spawned. Here we go. Let's see where these guys go. They're just sitting at the lines. Looks like Broken Shard is going to start as a blue buff. Top side start as well here for Admiral Ziploc.
And no sweeper lenses on the field.
Yeah.
So usually when you see a really offensive jungler like Elise, you'll take the sweeper lens, but Broken Shard is actually going to lend some vision to his team. They're taking this game very seriously and paying each other respects here.
Yeah.
Nobody's underestimating anybody else.
To consider it, like both junglers are very, very strong early game as well. I expect to see them get an early start. Actually, already harassed coming down on the bottom lane. Zane King, nothing here. Dropped pretty well. And by the way, I just got to point out, most servers I see in pro play start with Ricochet. It just contributes more damage overall to a fight.
Yes.
But when you learn it at level 1, you get the bounces in there. It's painful.
Yeah, it's also less mana intensive than using the boomerang blade constantly, and you'll get more damage out of it. And you'll push the wave. Fast push. It's big right now.
5-5 in minions so far. Level 2 likely to come in first for Determined. See if that means much. Both junglers have now finished a buff and 1 camp so far. So we're about 40 seconds away from them showing up in lanes if they wanted to.
Yeah, we were speaking of fast push. Immediately Zamfir pushing that straight to the turret of Prawley. You know, no CS disparities just yet, but West Rice is out ahead of Shen with the aggressive Doran's Blade.
It's true, yeah. A lot of bully potential there available. Broken Shard now level 3, finishing his buff at about 3 minutes. Similar stuff here for Admiral Ziploc, level 3. So the next thing for me to track is going to be where these junglers go, because right now the bottom lane is pushing in for Determined, and Cognitive's jungler is nearby.
Yeah, and Broken Shard is making his way towards that river bush area. Probably does have chain available, and he's going in.
Root already lands Flash Cocoon on the Zamfir. Do they have the damage? Flashing away. First blood picked up, 361 gold. Wow, that started quickly.
Because it was before the 4-minute mark, it's worth less gold, but they still push him out of lane. They'll get a CS advantage here, and Broken Shard, he's going to get experience too from clearing this out. He's going to also put kind of like a marker on Ziploc and say, all right, you're mid. I know you're not going to be anywhere else. All my other lanes can shove and push.
And that they are already. Broken Shard still harassing under the turret. That takes a bit of damage. I'm surprised to see probably not backing yet. He doesn't cash in his first blood gold, so actually Zamfir is going to be back in lane with an extra Doran's Ring and a ward now that he doesn't have flash.
Yeah. They know he doesn't have flash though, so Broken Shard can make a repeat visit, and he's harassing Admiral, and here he comes over the wall.
Ooh, dodges away from the Cocoon and the root right there, so it's going to be a safe Admiral for now. No demotion for you, Ziploc.
Admiral's like, I can break these chains. You can't break those chains.
No, you need a QSS or cleanse, and you didn't bring either, buddy. So check yourself.
It's early game. He might go for a late game just to break the chain, just to prove he can do it.
Just to prove. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Or I guess Zane King can't pick up. Oh, close there.
Broken Shard.
Oh, that was a good dodge.
Wow.
He did not get reckoned with. West Rice and Richie Rich.
See what you did there.
Yep. I got my ability names. Don't worry. We're good to go.
I reckon you did.
Yeah. There
Just
you go.
became really American.
We're making it happen.
It is the NALCS or
I reckon you did. Oh dear.
All right.
This is gonna degrade very rapidly, guys.
Yeah, it is. Especially since, like, you've been telling those bad jokes.
Oh, do you want more? I feel like it's too early in the game for more.
It's too early in the game for more, but I gave them to you.
That's true. I told you you get
realized
Oh no, Zamfira.
He's going for it.
Stun. The pain is coming. Broken Shard. The damage is 100 health. Goodbye. Another kill picked up. 300 gold to Broken Shard. This mid lane, not too happy for Cognitive.
And I talked about it earlier where Broken Shard, he knows the flash is down. He's going to make repeat visits mid. And he's got to level up now on Ziploc, so he can harass him out of lane. He's going to soak this experience while Prawley backs.
So Prawley's going to back with about 500 gold worth of kills and assists under his belt. And he rushes Sork Shoes. So Prawley's going to deal some real damage in that lane.
Yeah, and he's going to be able to close that distance and aim the chains a little better instead of reaching for them.
Sure.
And the range on it's pretty tricky, especially when you source at the same time.
See, Q, bit of damage.
You got
Pesky
the
minion in the way. It's okay, nothing here. Picked it up.
Yeah, got it in range for him.
Yeah.
It was a good help.
Easy shot. Caitlyn managed to snipe that one away. Minions still, though, like, it's interesting because the tournament's like trying to push, but they're running out of mana now. But that was how they were keeping themselves from getting harassed. And I feel like with Sivir not having mana, it might get tougher for the determined bottom lane here.
Yeah, and you were talking about how the range on Sivir is 500.
Low.
Yeah, 150 less than Caitlyn's. They bring the Annie to the table with the 625. So Bubba Dub will be doing zone control and harassing.
True.
While when nothing here tries to go for some CS.
The actual total range of both lanes is equal if you add the ranges together.
Oh.
Did you know?
500 plus 625. And then Thresh is 475.
Yep.
Plus 650.
There you go. The maths.
You're blowing my mind, freak.
The maths, they are here. I've got them. Just wanted you guys to know about that one. Zamfira also, he's still 500 range too, right?
Oh.
Babadub's in range. Babadub, really good play. The flash force. They're going to try to force this one down. I don't know if they're going to get anything for it. Okay, that was a really awkward ulti then.
So Richie Rich is now in a bad position. He's going to have to make some type of trek back and walk up top. Broken Shard, he actually goes straight up top. They know that he's out of lane. It's going to be a 2v1. He's going to get some turret damage here. And Ziploc, he's not falling for this.
He's too far into the trees, man.
He's in the
trees.
trees.
The camouflage.
Came out of the trees, man. His face was just right up against that.
He made it. Tree-hugging hippie Broken Shard, making himself.
He's a spider. They make their webs there.
Yeah, exactly. It's his home environment, man. Would only be better if he was Maokai.
It's going to go down so quick. I don't think Ziploc will be in range.
Smite
He has the W.
Picked up. Ooh, Ziploc tried to smite. They
Broken Shard got it
early. Yeah, Ziploc smited early. So level 6 now on Broken Shard with a red buff steal. So far it's 3 buffs to 2 on the map. Nice jump in there. Zamfira taking damage. Turret firing back though.
It's that pen, and he still comes out on top. And Broken Shard is in this area that isn't warded, and he's just going to go for his blue, possibly hand it off to Prolly here.
Yeah.
And it's back to jungle routes.
Well, here's the thing is so I know with last night's game, we talked about how Xiao Xiao picked up 5 VF swords and said the sword is mightier than the pen. Well, Prolly's got a bunch of pen, and Zamfira has a sword. So I think Prolly's about to just kind of flip this one around.
Okay.
So maybe the
and
pen
he
is
is playing
mightier than the
LeBlanc
sword.
too.
Yeah.
So, and there is a sword on
there.
Robert Exley.
Yep.
He has that advantage over nothing here.
It's true.
By a good amount.
By a scepter. What are scepters even?
It's just lane sustain, I guess. This is not going to help.
Lame.
Lame sustain?
Yes, it is. I know we picked you for a reason.
You know it was a bad joke when Freak laughs and you cringe at yourself?
That means it's a great joke. I don't know what you're talking about. This is going to go well. I'm looking forward to the rest of these games.
Oh, man.
Well, here we go. Robert Exley, Babadub, chilling in the bottom lane. No GP10 by either support, rushing for the sight stones.
So Zamfira doesn't even go offensive build here. He goes straight for a Negatron cloak.
Ooh.
He's like, Broken Shard's going to keep coming here. I need help. And there's a 3-man gank mid on the LeBlanc.
Gigantic roam here. Admiral Ziploc looking forward. Richie Rich, can he get the early flash? That's smart by Prolly.
That was good.
Yeah.
Because Richie Rich had his flash available. Flash, taunt, flash. Either of them would have done that.
So, okay. Prolly grabs the flash.
Distortion, too.
Yep. So now Prolly's got to keep track of his cooldowns. A little fade away.
When you W. Oh, nothing here.
Nothing here. Gets away from this one.
And there's nothing there.
Not anymore. That's his, actually, it's his name on live right there.
It is.
If you want to look up his most played, nothing there, the screen name.
Ziploc sees this.
That's a bit risky. Ziploc gonna go in on Babadub. Ulti comes across as well. Nice fade across. Bullet Shield keeping him alive a little bit. The play coming through, but here comes the cavalry there, forcing the flash away from the support. Nothing here. Forced to run away. Broken Shard still chasing. 200 health on Zane King. Nice kick coming back. The flash auto from Robert Lee picks it up. 1-0. The BF sword pulling its weight on this one.
Broken Shard is so aggressive, and he's at the right place at the right time. If they stall for him, he is a menace right now. 100% kill participation in this game so far.
Very nice plays right here. Babadub also looking to keep making plays. Tibbers still chilling in the river. I think he used it as a ward. Tibbers basically roleplayed as Evelyn there.
It's a 50 gold ward if you kill it.
Yeah.
So it's a little pricey. Admiral, he wants to take that.
I feel like he shouldn't try.
He shouldn't.
But lost the last Smite
you
War.
could see it in his blind eyes.
Wow. Well, there we go. Gonna be dragged going down, picked up by Broken Shard. Ziploc's gonna go down 1-0. Babadub trade back 1-for-1 in this fight, and here comes Richie Rich as well. Broken Shard getting chased down. 400 health. The jumps forward. Nice repel right there. Goes the other side. Nothing here. Gets a red buff for his troubles. 2-for-1 in this fight. I gotta say, not too bad for Cognitive.
So I'm glad I said the 100% kill participation then, because now he doesn't.
Nope.
Oh, it was a good roam by Richie Rich to be there, using his Stand United to get into that fight. West did what we said he was going to do if he didn't bring the teleport.
Yeah.
And
Cried in top lane.
Yeah. He had the ghost, didn't even make the trek for it. So we're going to look at this again. Admiral Ziploc, he's just buying time. We have Kale coming down from the side. Prawley's going to come in after the Dragon's done on Broken Shard. They're going to blow up Bubba Dub, and he goes after Ziploc. Ziploc taken out in the back, and it's just a good zoning there. And at the end, there was a nice flash after the taunt there. And Broken Shard, he repels up to avoid the damage, but he has to come down, and nothing here picks it up.
You know what's crazy to me as well is Zamfira was silenced and then stunned while his Lee Sin teammate went down. So actually, I never even saw the intervention come out in that fight, at least not at the beginning. Ziploc couldn't be saved.
Oh. You got to save yourself. That's what they teach you when you're that high up in the rankings.
Ignore teammates, acquire invulnerability.
He's like second from the top.
Yeah. Well, see what else these guys can do with this one. Westrice dangerously alone here in the top lane. Pops the ulti. Gonna try to run away. No dash available. No, well, he's popped Ghost. I don't know if it's going to matter too much. Trying to lifesteal back up. Still just fighting back and forth. He is a tanky man. Has most of Sunfire Cape. Ulti's still there. Picks it up. Admiral Ziploc with a kick in the back of the head. 4-3 in kills.
Showing he's deserving of that promotion. They obviously taught him self-defense. Goes straight out there. And probably with the aggression on Zamfira.
But I feel like it's much less impactful than before. Level 9 on both these guys. The trade's coming back. Probably, yeah, he maxed the distortion. He's got the wave clear, but
it's not Negatron Cloak.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Really is paying off. He neglects all of Prawley's builds so far. Yeah, it just has penetration.
Yep.
So he's like, all right, I'm going to build a big magic resist item, and I don't even know what it's going to build into. Abyssal Scepter?
He's gonna
Banshee's Veil?
Yeah, at some point, Banshee's like super late
At some point. He'll probably hang on to it for a very long time.
It'll be like his 4th item.
Yeah. Yeah, because you want that Nashor's Tooth as soon as possible, and then back it up with Lich Bane, and then just more AP, whatever you want.
Exactly. Well, we'll see as the build progresses there. Finally, Prawley goes back to base, picks up Home Guard boots on his Sork shoes, as well as the makings of a very important Deathfire Grasp for him.
And so once he gets that Deathfire Grasp, it's going to really be on Zamfira's shoulders to try and counter that. The hook lands, but nobody's in the vicinity, so he's not going to take that. And they're collapsing on this red.
Well, let's see what they can do. Broken Shard goes for it, picks it up, gets taunted, though. He's not in a good spot. Flay comes down, does not land the box. Ziploc shows up, but there's a frontliner, Shen, taking a bit of pain. Tibbers goes down on the tanks as well. Ziploc goes in for the fight. Hook lands. Who's going to take the damage now? Lantern comes into the background. The damage comes across. Nice kick there onto the team. And both teams disengaged from the fight.
And Caitlyn is much closer than Nothing Here is. I mean, sorry, Nothing Here is much closer than Robert Exley. Sorry.
Yeah.
Should just use the people's names. Don't interchange them. So
I do that. It's bad.
Yeah. It's like Caitlyn and then Robert X. Lee.
You like that?
Robert X. Lee was much further away, but he's actually going to try to start this blue. Prawley's there.
This is a bit risky.
Kale's coming too, because that's who they want to receive it.
Looks like the team's going to be there first for Cognitive. So they realize this. They rotated in time. Broken Shard was not around. And unless there's a Miracle Steal, this should... Ooh, they're going to try.
Might as well. You can switch him back over.
Oh!
Oh, he got it! Robert
X. Lee from the south making it happen.
That's how they do it there.
Apparently.
Do it fast with boomerang blades.
Yep. At this point.
That was really good.
Blue F Sivir.
Man.
Alrighty,
It's your fault. It's your fault.
My fault?
Yeah. Sivir, but when you say we, right? When people say Riot, please, they're usually talking to Freak.
Yes. I actually do everything in this game. If there's a bug, it's my fault.
So if you ever have like a bad game or you lose it because of a bug, just tweet at Freak.
Yeah, it was. I forced you to lose that game. You're welcome for all the ELO lost. I've actually rigged all these matches here as well.
So who's winning this one?
Clearly, as you can tell by the scoreboard, determined so far. I won't reveal the end.
Oh, okay.
That's
okay.
just
No
messed up.
spoilers. Okay,
No.
so all right, so you're at least a good guy.
Yeah, I'm a benevolent ruler. Well, here we go. Westrice, Richie Rich, level 11 versus 10. Ulti is back up for Shen right here. Probably chilling out in the mid lane as well. I want to know where... I mean, he just keeps trying. Damage is going up there.
It's kind of reversing polarity, though. Probably's taking the brunt of the trades.
Yeah,
he went for early home guards.
He's super squishy. He does have MR glyphs, 42 MR there, taking a little bit of the punishment off, but...
And instead of getting the Fiendish Codex, he goes for the home guard boots. So every time he goes back, he wants to run fast. He wants to get back to lane as soon as possible.
You gotta go fast.
Yeah, oh yeah. You aren't first, you're last.
Exactly. Well, here we go. Determined, looking to make it
and
to
there's
first.
a Sivir, too.
They're gonna try. Mid lane turret taking a bunch of pain. Sivir pulled aggro, didn't really want that. Here we go, the chain lands. Looks like actually one of these guys hits chains, and it's not Zane King here. Probably forced back, though, so the push not working for the Determined the entire time. Richie Rich has been pushing top.
Yeah, they've left him by himself. He has the standing knight available. So Westrice, they're making a move here. Dragon is up in 30 seconds. And this is a little bit of an early prep time for it. But in the meantime, Richie's going to back, spend that gold so he has it when the Dragon's up for that fight. So it's not just gold burning a hole in his pocket. You want those effective combat stats.
Well, Ziploc, oh no! Gets the KO ult, he jumps over the wall as well. Burn flash, but Zamfira now without the KO ult. No intervention here, but just walks away to the turret. That's going to be good enough. That'll intervene for him. Determined though, still in the mid lane. Richie still top lane though.
Yeah, he actually didn't back. He canceled it and continued to push. He has the Sunfire, so he has that tool available to him just to push. Shen doesn't have an AoE ability by himself, so he has to rely on his items. And this is going to go over to DTG without a contest because they got Ziploc so low.
Nicely done. Determined, gonna get themselves a 4,000 gold lead. Westrice shows back up to the top lane before the turret goes down. Probably removes some wards, and Determined still looking pretty all right here. Westrice did add some more stats to himself. The Merc Tread's already done. The Sunfire Cave, we talked about that one a little bit ago. And let's see. DTG back to the split push game. And it's a little bit hard for him, I guess, to fight up against the Shen TPs.
Yeah. And he didn't bring TP to the table, so it's not as devastating.
Yeah.
He brought the Ignite, which is... he doesn't have a lot of kill potential on a Shen.
No.
So
he's just there to like kill minions and peace out.
And
they're just going to look menacing at each other.
The Ignite is going to help him if he gets a gank.
Yeah.
Which happened earlier.
Yeah, it worked.
Definitely paid off. Reduced the healing that came in from Polygamy. And DTG just going to push this turret. They have a lot of wave clear in this team. It doesn't look like it at first glance, but they have the Renekton, they have the Distortion, which is being maxed first from Crawley, and they have the Ricochet. There's an immense amount of wave clear there within this team.
Yeah, Jat made the point that Sivir is defensive wave clear.
Yes.
Like defensive anti-push because of the Ricochet, whereas hitting a turret is hard from 500 range. You're likely to get killed, as Sivers tend to do when they're in close range. So I understand. Life is difficult, but I mean, thankfully for them, COG are losing this game right now, so they're only going to be defending.
Yeah.
They've nullified their disadvantages by getting behind early game.
Wow. Are there any teams that don't do that?
Next level strategies right there.
Oh, I think you always want to be ahead. I don't think there's a team where you're like, well, we'll hand them the early game on purpose. Make them think that.
I mean, that's the CLG tactic. Right, they win a game to make their fans think they're doing well.
Push. Take our turret so that the wave is at our tier 2, and you go do other things like contest objectives. I'm going to farm here.
Yes. Have you not watched CLG for the last 4 years?
I have.
Yeah.
And I have been...
It's the exact game plan.
My heartstrings have been toyed with over and over again. I've been a fan all the way through, but man, oh man.
Man. But Monte Cristo showed up as coach and said, guys,
yeah,
that's only one of our strategies. Try something else.
That was brilliant today. I really like that.
Yeah. Oh, they did win their game today.
Esports. I'm glad to see Monty giving the tip of his hat to the Esports Express. Top journalism there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they leaked it. He had to.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, well, it's been revealed, so he might as well.
Oh.
They're kind of like the whistleblowers. Esports Express is the Snowden of League of Legends. They're like, actually,
so
I
know.
Get
get nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize
yes.
now? All
yep,
right.
that's coming up next. $1 million.
They won't get it, but they'll get nominated for it.
Nomination will be there. Yeah. No one's going to vote for him. They'll vote for themselves, but no one's going to care.
And this blue buff just back and forth here. Shen, Richie's going to back this fight. Man, all this for a blue buff, man.
This poor Golem keeps walking back and forth, and no one really likes it enough to actually kill it. All right, Ziploc's going to try. Nope, goes the other way. Smite comes out. Brokenshard gets it again. Ziploc not doing a good day with smiting. Look at the burst.
That was the money shot
goes
right
down.
there.
Yeah, that one hurt a little bit. There we go, Broke. Robert Lee. Ooh, he spell shields out a little bit of that. He's going to be safe for here, but it's a 1-for-0. The team is ready to siege.
See, Richie, he could have used Stand United to maybe soak some of the damage, but Zamfir was too far gone. Maybe he could have soaked some, and then Divine Intervention would have come out, would have given him enough time for that. This turret's going to go down, all because of that blue buff. And man, in the spirit of Valentine's Day, that guy was so lonely. For so long. He got 2 smites, though.
Yes.
Twice beloved.
Yes.
He was smitten.
But only one team could have him, and the heart was given to Determined.
No polygamy in this game.
Nope.
I'm sorry. Poor Golem.
Golem is not Mormon.
Oh.
What? It's not offensive. It's still
No, it's not offensive.
Okay.
It's not offensive.
I like when I have to say it's not offensive to say it's not offensive. That's when you know you're doing a good job.
No.
It's like, I really like
it's
you,
a real
but...
thing. It's a real thing.
It's like, Zyrene, I really like you, but you're not making enough jokes with me.
What?
You're casting well, but...
What?
No,
Just get these little... Okay, fine.
My jokes are hilarious, but...
but I need to laugh more at them.
Yeah.
Is that in my contract? It is in my contract, actually, that I have to laugh at Freak's jokes.
You only get paid if you laugh at every single one of them. If you make me feel awkward up here, you're done for.
Oh, okay.
Too late.
No! All right.
See? Now we have an awkward pause. You've done it
I
wrong.
was about to like... Okay. So before people start saying that we're high, again, because that happens like
I'm
every
high on
challenger,
life.
they're just like, yeah. Oh, Bubba Dub, the kickback!
Oh, the kickback.
Oh!
Bubba Dub not going to like his life too much. Flashes down, slowed. There's the net coming in. Hook does not quite land. Bubba Dub, 400 health, and down he goes. Nothing here. Kicks the little child in the face.
They put so many resources into that, they had to come out with that kill. Bubba Dub used his flash. He won't have a flash Tibbers Initiate available the next time he's up. And now, Cognitive going after, but ZXC caught again.
They're trying the 4v5. Determined going in hard for this fight. Let's see if they can do it. Fox comes down. The dive towards the back line. Richie Rich cutting way after the side. Flashes away from this one. He's going to be safe. West Rice and Probably are not done. Look at the damage coming out. Admiral Zipblock gets the demotion. And Zane King going to go down as well. 2 for 0 in the lopsided engage. Working it nicely for Determined.
Back to Commodore with you, Ziploc. I'll put him above Captain a little bit.
Okay.
You know, he still deserved a little bit of a promotion.
Okay.
I can't completely retcon.
Commodore's above Captain?
I think it is. I believe it is.
I forget.
It sounds cooler than Captain.
It does sound cooler. I was always sad that Commodore.
Oh, nothing here. Oh, the chain!
1 chain, not 2 chains. That's not enough damage. You didn't do 2 chains.
It's disappointing.
Yep.
Disappointing. You got to have the 2 chains. That's what's going to do it for you.
Birthday song for best song ever made. It's. We'll just move on. Okay, so Baron goes down. I didn't want to pass any commentary. I'm just personally not a fan of Birthday Song. 36,000 gold.
But you said it was the best song. You can't take back what you said.
We're going to move on. Don't worry about it, guys.
All right.
Enjoy music at your own risk. Cog, Zamfiro forced back from the mid lane. Probably wearing the fashionable purple Baron buff. The rest of the team doing the same. Another Dragon to go to Determined as well. These guys are holding on to the game pretty nicely. Couple of early game falters, but by and large, the objective game has gone to Determined.
Yeah, and we've seen what Cognitive has started to do here with their composition. The Divine Intervention and the Stand United can stop probably from 100 to 0ing somebody. We saw it there on Nothing Here, who's the squishiest member of that entire team. Yeah. Out of everybody, he's going to be the one that gets blown up the quickest, and probably still couldn't do it.
Nope.
So it was a good play there, and this composition might work out for Cog in the very late game, but they're going to have to hold on and try to make up for this 9K deficit.
Yeah, because in the interim, both Barrier and Stand United are now down, whereas Probably's got his ulti back.
But Divine Intervention, we'll just throw that one out there.
If he's around. I mean, last time they stunned him and he just dropped immediately.
Yeah, that's true. They focus Zamfir. Go for the person who has the invulnerability. It's like, is there a Lulu? Just go, get her.
As long as you don't overcommit.
Yeah.
Sometimes you chase too far. Singed players like this. You just keep running at them and you're
Rule number
poisoned.
1.
Don't chase Singed.
Rule number 2.
Don't chase Singed.
Now you can be a member of Fight Club.
There you go.
Congratulations.
That's also rule number 2.
Oh.
It's actually a combined rule. It's like 2A, don't chase Singed. 2B, don't talk about Fight Club.
And then 3 is if it's your first day on the league, you have to fight?
Yes.
On the rift? Yes.
You have to first pick.
Oh, okay.
That's how it works.
Okay.
I don't know.
I like that.
I made it up.
I like that.
I think it works, though.
We should establish a Fight Club for League.
Okay.
The Rift Club.
You got to first. But what happens if everyone went there for the first time? Is it just a blind pick game then?
Nah, we gotta.
Because there's an inaugural game at some point.
You gotta start small. So it'll be 4 members that start, and then we
It's
just
a
start
2v2?
start bringing people on. No. We'll just queue into 5s. It'll be a ranked 5s team.
Oh, wow. The other guy won't even know about it.
You add that new guy in, right? And then he becomes inaugurated. And
But you
then
can't tell him about it. How would he know?
See, isn't that how, like, in Fight Club, the club wouldn't get any bigger unless people talk about it. It's just so good.
So the
You
club is
trust
full
in
of
human
rule
nature.
breakers.
Yes, exactly. You have to trust in human nature at first. Then you beat it out of them after they're gone. You're just like, you're breaking rules. That's fine at first because you're spreading our name. You're being free advertisement. And afterwards,
You just kick him in the teeth for telling people about it.
and that's Project Mayhem.
Okay.
Yep,
Well-
absolutely. And DTG is bringing the Fight Club 5v5 in the mid lane.
Yep. Turret down below half HP. No one's even trying to stop him. That's going to be turret number 6 here for Determined. 25 minutes in. Baron's already off the table. So is Dragon. And they got wards freaking everywhere.
Yeah, they can only have turret objectives in their sight right now, or people. They can
Yeah.
pick people off. Getting these deep wards in. If we look at the map, pink wards all around the Baron area. None have been swept out. DTG has this advantage and a level advantage across multiple members here, typically just by 1.
I'm trying to... Oh, we got 2 between the 280 carries. Oop. And for the rest of it, actually it averages out. Uh-oh, nothing here.
nothing
Taking
here.
the pain. Flash for the E. Probably gets it.
and there's nothing there anymore.
Nope.
There's
a corpse.
He just got taken right off the map there.
Off he goes. Turret now under fire. Right under sleeve. Watch out. You got turret aggro. Okay, he's safe.
Hope he's just taking it. He'll lifesteal that up off of the minions that aren't there.
Yeah, at some point he'll get it. That was actually nearly a hook that landed, though.
If he got hooked right into that Q, Ziploc probably would have kicked him back.
Likely would have gotten the kill, absolutely. But he didn't do that. Didn't happen. New minions are here. Nothing here, not alive. 5 versus 4, and the dive comes in. Vox comes down. It's not under Richie Rich. Zamfira, good buy. Goes down. No ulti able to be used. 1 for 0. Turret goes down. Inhibitor now under fire.
No nothing here on the table either. Probably he's going for more. Go straight back. Oh, they want the inhibitor. Just zone control there by LeBlanc with the chains.
Well, as you can jump on back, I've got to say, there's been a lot of really nice moves by LeBlancs over the course of this game. And just the
LeBlancs over the course of this game. So Prawley.
Yes.
So Prawley's been making the moves.
And the clone, if you ever got low enough, which I'm not sure he even has.
The LeBlanc.
Yeah.
I see it.
Yeah, I don't know. Ziploc shows up. Nice kickback. Going to be a kill back on Richie Rich, though. Turret aggro just kind of going onto the tanks. Not a big deal here. Another one goes down with Admiral Ziploc. The respawns come in, but Cog hasn't fought with 5 members for like the entire game here. Another turret falls, and now the inhibitor under siege.
He's going for kills.
Bub it up. Gonna burn down with the ignite, but it's still a trade back. 1 for 1 on the fight. Inhibitor now under fire.
Wow. This is going to be a second inhibitor to DTG. And Robert blocks it, and it's a surrender from Cog.
He flashed a spell shield it just to be flashy. They saw the surrender come out. 12-5, 27 minutes in. It's a pretty resounding victory.
Oh, yeah. No. Probably didn't die at all. No deaths on the table for him. And had an outstanding game. Controlling the mid lane. Broken Shard got him ahead. And just snowballed that game with that assassin.
Oh, yeah. You saw Kale open up with a defensive build. Never really activated the damage potential. Every fight I thought was coordinated so well because you saw like multiple times Zamfira not able to ult anyone. He died during CC.
Yeah, they had a lot of CC there. The cocoon coming in. Broken Shard was really on top of those skill shots.
Yeah,
and that's not slacking at all.
And that's what's scary about it too. Is like go down the list of like people in this game and their champion pools of scary things they can play. So we'll start on Cog's side.
Okay.
He banned Lulu. He had Kale, and it was like, I mean, early game deficit, but sure.
Yeah.
But like look back. So it's like, okay, Broken Shard got first pick jungler. Got Elise, did well. You got Vi, Lee Sin, Kha'Zix, champions you would love to play, still there in the background.
Yeah.
You got the rest of the lineup. Like, it's hard to beat them in picks and bans. I think in general you're at the point where teams don't lose in picks and bans.
Yeah.
And you've got to get a strategic victory for Cognitive.
Yeah, you can't ban anybody out for the most part.
No.
On DTG or Cog. I think they all have deep enough champion pools and versatile enough champion pools that they could always bring something to the table. But the question is, can you make something of those champions that are left up?
That's true.
Can you make it a cohesive 5v5 unit?
Yeah.
And Cog, they had the workings of it. There's some pieces missing. Yeah,
I mean, think about Cognitive's 2 wins they had. Both times Richie Rich was on Riven. All 3 games they had Lulu, and those are 2 bans that stood out to me that determined are probably not going to switch when it comes to game 2 either.
Yeah, and Yasuo was Zamfira's fallback in that game 3.
Yeah.
It was available here, didn't pick it. So he didn't want Yasuo. It wasn't going to synergize with too much. It can synergize with Lee Sin's kick for some ganks, but against the LeBlanc, her cooldowns are low enough that if she throws her all in on the wall,
and especially when
she can dodge things too.
And you think about it, right? Like LeBlancs are maxing W now, and W does not get hit by wind wall.
Yeah.
The Q and E and the mimic versions of those can be, but if you play around the wind wall and you dash to the other side of it, land the abilities afterwards, like you remove that entire option there. There's a lot of it would be a difficult matchup.
Yeah, it's a skill-based matchup, definitely.
Yeah.
So I wonder what would happen if Zamfira played Yasuo in that match, because there was a lot of lack of synergy between the Lee Sin jungle and the Kale. It was basically like Lee Sin, I got half HP bursted by LeBlanc. I need some way to get out. And that's all Kale was really used for, was just backup.
Yeah, that's
in the
true.
Divine Intervention. So they needed something a little more, and they needed more presence there. And Broken Shard made huge props to him and Prawley, the synergy there, obviously showing that Prawley's a great addition to the team, and his KDA still going up because he didn't die.
Still going up.
He's got to be going crazy right now.
Yep, doing a great job.
He was sitting at
He's
17
embodying Ziggs at this point. He's going crazy, blowing people up, doing good stuff. We'll see what Cognitive can do in Game 2 if they can pull it back. Guys, we've got to take a quick break, but when you return, it's time for that second game in this Challenger Series semifinal. Cognitive Gaming versus Determined Gaming Part 2 right after this.